Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UPNradio.com.
All right. Welcome to Mostly Sports on this beautiful Monday here in Los Angeles. It's crisp today for the first time in a while, like 66 degrees. That's crisp in L.A. Good weather. Mike Scavati, Jay Devlin, what's happening, dude?
Nothing, man. It's funny. I just log on out of my computer today, so I'm just going to be on my little baby phone computer. And the first two guys on the board, Hawk, obviously, back in Boston, but Brian O'Sullivan.
Yeah,
great friend of the show, great friend of ours. Went 5-0 yesterday in his bets.
Really?
So I told him I would give him a shout out immediately for his greatness. Sent me his bets. Won a bunch of first half bets, but crushed it yesterday.
Did he put him on Facebook? Normally he writes you a little something, and I'd check it. I'm like, all right, let me see what this guy's doing. Let me keep an eye on his bets.
He's good like that, but he definitely shoots me texts every week. Okay. And I'll say this, and he's really smart about it. Like, we've said this over and over, that if you just make one bet a week, and if you have discipline to just make your one bet a week that you really, really like, you're probably going to win money in the long run. Where you lose money is when you get greedy and start betting games where you're kind of on the fence.
Yeah.
Just to get some action. So he's been sending me one game a week, and it's pretty much, he's like 9-1 in these one games he sends me.
Well, that's funny because a guy I play tennis with is of that ilk. He doesn't bet every week, but if something comes up, he'll go crazy for it. And you can't trust what gamblers say. But I'm more interested I am than his pick is how he has the discipline to do that. Because every Saturday night, once everyone in my house goes to bed and I'm watching the final game, this week it was Utah-Washington. Good finish. Utah blew it. They had a chance to beat Washington. But it's like 11 o'clock. I'm looking at the next day. And I put in like 1, 2, maybe 3 bets that I love right off the bat.
Yeah.
If I just slept in on Sunday, I'd be good. And I'd say, okay, I got those 3. Then they're out throughout the day, not all necessarily early games. But then I wake up Sunday morning, I'm like, the Saints are good, and the Rams, I think they're going to go do it in Minnesota. And I just talk myself into all this other BS.
That's where you get screwed, man. It's like you just like your one thing, you're good. But then you say, if I win this bet, I kind of like this bet. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll tie it into this team with a parlay. And that's where you get screwed. So discipline.
If I put it into a teaser, then that can't lose. And, it's crazy. NFL is so tough. It's so difficult. I mean, I did well Saturday. This has been the story of the year. Well Saturday, give it all back Sunday.
Yeah.
For no reason.
It's tough, man.
I didn't even get to watch many of the games yesterday, but I had action on all of them. Had DraftKings teams in.
I still haven't paid the bookie all year.
That's shocking considering how much you were at minus 499.
It's mid-November.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Impressive.
This has been a magical gambling year for me.
It's
not like I've won a lot of money. I haven't won a lot of money.
But that's a win.
I just haven't paid a lot of money, which is incredible.
That's huge. NFL action. A lot of college action this weekend. Nothing too crazy. No top 11 team lost. We had the LA showdown, Rosen and Darnold. A lot of people talking about that. Baker Mayfield, is what he did totally inappropriate or par for the course as far as sports, but it's just the Heisman frontrunner, so this is getting magnified times a million. We got a little NBA action, and then your boy, LeVar Ball, and everybody's boy, Donald Trump, getting into it here. More UCLA talk,
It was inevitable.
This is now national news.
It was inevitable.
I was wondering, can we start with this?
Sure. Today is, dude, it's a holiday week, man. I'm a little under the weather.
Yeah.
All right. I was questionable.
I like the cable knit sweater.
I still came in hot today, so we're good. So
Okay.
anything goes today. Today is just a holiday edition of Mostly Sports.
All right, and then we're going to do our disclaimer because we're going to somewhat talk about politics here. Not really. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. Don't get offended by anything we say. Again, we don't know what we're talking about. If you get offended by anything we say, you're probably not listening to this show anyway.
We don't even vote. So
when we heard that Trump got the guys out, there was a little bit of an outrage here and a lot of people getting his back. A lot of people said, oh, okay, that was nice of Trump. Other people said, what is he doing getting these kids out? People were going nuts. Locked up abroad. These kids could be 3 to 10 years. How stupid are they? Leave them over there. Make them pay for what they did. Okay. LeVar Ball this whole time, not a word. He was the first. This incident was the first thing to shut him up for a couple of days It didn't matter what it was, whether it was the NBA draft, it was UCLA getting smoked by Kentucky last year. It was all those things. Nothing shut him up. This finally did. And then as soon as his son is back on American soil, then I said, all right, now what are we going to hear? I didn't think it would get as bad as Donald Trump did nothing. He didn't go visit my kid in jail, therefore he did nothing. I said, oh, my God, this guy could spin anything.
Yeah, it's just pure genius. I'm impressed LeVar was able to keep quiet while LiAngelo was in China. Because I read something that said he wanted to have a press conference the day after he was arrested. And his attorneys were like, dude, just shut up. This isn't America. Like, just let it
International
play out.
incident. Big deal.
But, yeah, I mean, it's a win for LeVar. Again, he's just racking up W's left and right. But it's a win for Trump, too. It's a win for everybody. The two greatest marketers in the history of marketing clashing.
Going at it.
At the top. They're both at the top of their game right now, too. It's just like the two undefeated teams like coming together. This would be the best pay-per-view of all time.
Is LeVar's stock going down? Because either love him or you hate him.
Yeah. I obviously love LeVar. So
I love him, too. I think I can't stand him, but that's why I love him. Because it's every time I'm flipping through the post, his name's up there.
Here's the thing: he's very grateful to Trump for getting his kid out of prison. He is, but he also recognizes an opportunity,
of course,
and that's why he's so smart.
See, I know he is grateful, but I don't know where that's coming from when you say that, because you're 100% right. The opportunity is there.
I've always said this: everything LeVar says comes with a wink, in my mind. Like he says shit and then looks back at his people and kind of winks.
Yeah.
He doesn't really believe anything he says. I mean, some of it I'm sure he does, but he's a genius. It's great. It's fun to talk about. I'm glad these kids didn't go to jail. Yeah. I was very adamant that, look, they didn't sound very remorseful. What I didn't like about LeVar, what he said was, hey, well, they just stole sunglasses. I've seen a lot worse. Like he really downplayed what they did. Of course. And that was definitely didn't agree with that. But here's the problem with LeVar, which is the sad thing. You see people get away with stuff. Oh, no, we got a phone call. Maybe it's LeVar Ball.
Uh-oh. That'd be nice.
Let's go to the phones. Who we got? Where you calling from? What's your name?
It's Jake Head, and I'm calling from Hollywood.
You calling from a Chinese
Hollywood,
prison?
Jake Head.
Are you calling from
What's
Hollywood?
up, boys?
Are you sober? That's our first question. Were you partying last night after a big Patriots win in Mexico City?
Oh, come on. I can't fly down. I can't fly down for that. I'm too busy. You know how it goes.
You're on set. You're jet set, and you're doing your thing. Jake Head, what's going on, man?
How many premieres can you guys go to for Gentleman's Fury? My God, it's screened in every theater in this town.
Hey, wherever the movie's still special, fellas, that's where we go.
That movie's obviously near and dear to my heart, Mike, so let's understand. This movie deserves a worldwide, premieres everywhere.
Let everyone know. I see a few people on the board who don't necessarily know. Starring Jay Devlin and Jake Head a little bit.
I was going to say you got to put Jay Devlin up there. I've never seen work like that. I mean, off the cuff. SportsCenter better look out.
I went to a dark place to prepare for that role.
They might be looking for him. He did amazing work in that movie.
I did this radio show for 3 years just to prepare for that. That's how dedicated to my craft I am, my friend.
Well, I didn't know you guys were going to be so generous today, but, the movie did just drop on iTunes. So you're more than welcome to, cruise on over there and check out, Jay Devlin and his amazing work on the show.
Everybody out there on the message board, listen to the show, Gentleman's Fury. Get it on iTunes. Get it everywhere. Throw it in the Google machine. Jake Head absolutely kills it. Ben Sharples kills it. Great movie. Very funny tennis movie. More importantly, you must be feeling really good about yourself with the Celtics on top, the Patriots on top. Life is good for you.
Well, I think Brad Stevens is clearly the best coach. This Kyrie Irving trade is definitely working out fantastic for us. I'm sorry for all of you in the NBA world and football world. The New England teams are fantastic once again. I think Tom Brady is just putting on epic performances, and he's showing the rest of the league, man, you got to get to work. You got to get to work. They're just coming in there and they're tearing up teams. And they got some great athletes this year, but they're still, they're just blowing teams away with schematics and just playing good football, no penalties. It's incredible. Tom Brady is just a pleasure to watch.
Surgical. It's just straight up surgical what they're doing with the three-headed monster at running back. And just the receivers, doesn't matter. Chris Hogan goes down, Amendola steps up, Brandon Cooks, obviously, finally. We talked about that. It was going to take a little while for him and Tom Brady to get on the same page. Now they seem to be. Yeah, now that Cooks is on the same page as Brady, that's terrifying.
And Julian Edelman is not playing. He's hurt. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Edelman's hurt.
Yeah.
It's just a pleasure to watch. I mean, they're just a superior team, and I think the same thing with Brad Stevens. He just got all those guys clicking. You know, arguably your second best player on the team goes down, and what do? They roll off what? Were they on 15? Is it 15 or 16 straight?
I think it's 15.
15. With a huge win to get 14 over Golden State.
Yeah,
I love seeing that.
Talk about a statement game. What's better than that?
I don't think there's anything better than watching Golden State lose. I think we've entered that. I know there's a lot of San Francisco, mostly sports fans, but they're just, you know, they're just. I think people are starting to like to see them lose. It's kind of like, you know, people like to see the Yankees lose. You know what I'm talking about, Mike?
There we go. What is that? 3 minutes into the call. There's our first Yankees reference. You're slipping, Jake. You're slipping.
He refrained.
Oh man.
Hey,
but I want.
Go ahead.
I wanted to comment on some of the losers this week.
Okay.
What was Baker Mayfield thinking, man?
Wait, he's a loser in your mind?
Yeah, we were gonna delve into that one right now.
I don't think he's a loser, Mike. To be honest, but I mean, you just probably cost yourself $10 million minimum over the course. I mean, more than that. He could have been. He was the Heisman front runner.
Still is.
How can?
For what? What did he do? What did he do that upset you so much?
Well, from what I saw the thing. He was doing the crotch grab.
Yeah.
And it's like you're losing your composure and your temper against Kansas. I mean, they're nothing. They're nothing burgers. Who cares what those kids think?
And he made that clear.
I don't
He's
think it's going to hurt him in the draft status. I just think it might hurt him in the Heisman. I think he's the front runner. But I think those escapades yesterday are going to hurt him big time.
All right, so let's spin this a different way then. Tell me a more passionate college football player right now than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Someone right now more passionate? Well, it's certainly not Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen.
It's kind of a rhetorical question.
I can tell it's not those two guys.
Who would you?
Although I think both of them are pretty good.
Let me switch the question. Name a player you would rather watch in college football than Baker Mayfield.
Name a player. Well, I do like watching Sam Darnold, so I would definitely take him. I would. What's that quarterback? The quarterback for Texas right now.
You're digging way too deep, man. You're digging way too deep here. The quarterback for Texas, what are they, like 4-6?
But you're right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from Baker Mayfield as a player, as an athlete. But when you get into the war, you get and start talking about Heisman and things like that, you're talking about endorsement. You're talking about branding. You're talking about representing college football. And he's not. I don't know if he's going to be able to get away with that.
But you know who got away with it? Only, 3 years ago, who got away with it, and then he just ended up being terrible, was Johnny Manziel. You know,
I mean, you know what? You got a good point. Yeah, and there was a lot of people that were outraged that he got it. Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
But
same thing.
He deserved it, though. He deserved everything he got. Johnny Manziel. Here's the point: you can be as brash as you want, as long as if you're not backing it up on the field, people will see right through you. Baker Mayfield is going out and destroying people every week. So with that, you can that's the American way, Jake Ed. If you do it on the field, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Wear fur coats, have like 7 women. Look at Ric Flair, 30 for 30, my friend. The best 30 for 30 ever. Woo! All right? I want more of that.
I agree. I totally agree with you. But what I'm saying is in awards like the Heisman, let's not kid ourselves. They get political. There's imaging involved and things like that. I think he's going to hurt himself. And I agree, he's exciting to watch. I think his passion's great, but you got to. I mean, he was even sorry. He even admitted he was stupid. But
yeah,
I mean,
but they made him do that.
He
doesn't believe that. They made him say that.
Totally.
You don't. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I heard on the radio, so I didn't really see his. I didn't see his facial expression. So you might have been winking while he was doing it. I don't know.
His entire
can we
career.
Agree that he may have cost himself some endorsements and. He may not lose the Heisman, but it's definitely going to lose him some votes. Anybody on the same page with me?
He might lose a couple votes. Endorsements, no, because he's not going to be an NFL quarterback.
It'll give him more.
He's like taller. He's like an inch taller than Tom Cruise. But here's the point.
Is he short?
Oh, he's
6'1".
I didn't realize he was that short.
Well, my 6'1" is short. I mean, come on, 6'1". I don't know. That's like little. It's like middle school. But if you know Baker Mayfield's career, like it's predicated on 0 fucks. I mean, this guy goes to Texas Tech, kind of gets like run out. He walked on to Texas Tech, then like
I remember that,
and then like walks on to Oklahoma. And he's had amazing careers at both spots. It's pretty amazing what this guy's accomplished, having like not been recruited by anybody.
Wow,
it's tough right now. We're picking a quarterback right now. Go ahead.
No, I was saying you guys are winning me over. I'm he's definitely a Maverick. There's no question about it. He's got a great story. Grabbing your twig and berries on national TV it's not going to help you.
He's a Maverick. He's a gunslinger, and I'm going to tune in next week. I know he said they're not starting him. He'll probably sit for a half just as a discipline thing.
And then he's going to throw 5 motherfucking
And then he'll come
touchdowns.
in. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to check, see what's going on next week with Oklahoma.
Oh, I told my mom I wouldn't throw any MFers out there, so I apologize, Mom, for the MFer there.
She's downgraded.
Who they playing? Who they playing?
They're playing the Cleveland
Worcester State
Browns.
College?
They're playing the Browns, and they're favored by 7.5. Jake Head, real quick, we're gonna have you in December after Baker wins the Heisman. But before you go, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? What's your favorite thing on the table? The stuff.
Favorite thing on the table.
On the table, you could have one thing.
You guys are going to be. It's so basic. It's so Boston Irish that you're going to laugh at me.
Oh no.
Mashed potatoes, baby.
Give
me them mashed potatoes.
Probably the most popular answer.
Give me them mashed potatoes.
I like it. Well, dude, have a freaking great Thanksgiving. Thank you for calling in. Like I said, December, come on after Baker wins the Heisman, and we'll have some cocktails and chop it up.
You can for that. You can razz me, but gentlemen. Thanks for having me on, boys. Guys.
The great
Thank
Jake
you, Jake.
Head.
Call us anytime. We'll get you back on very soon.
Later.
Thank you, bud.
Star of the greatest tennis movie ever made, Gentleman's Fury.
That was good. I mean, we were going to talk about that shortly. We were talking about ridiculous PR stuff between Trump and your boy LeVar Ball. If you're Trump right now, just shifting gears, and then we'll get back into this whole Mayfield thing because they kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
They say bad publicity is still good publicity. That's the thing around here. Baker Mayfield, I think it's good publicity. I think he's fired up. They made him apologize. It was a BS, he really meant it. Look at his eyes. No, that's bullshit. Some PR person from Oklahoma came in and said, you better get on that podium right now and talk about what a good kid you are and this and that, how it was out of line. Shut up. Are you kidding me? He would do it 100 out of 100 times again.
Exactly. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
If you're Trump right now, I know it's very hard to put anybody in Trump's shoes. Are you sitting there just going, this motherfucker is not grateful? I just got his kid out of a Chinese prison for maybe 10 years, and this guy has the balls to say that I didn't do shit?
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, we know that.
I'm curious,
he's obviously very thin-skinned. He wants the credit. He wants to get some kind of credit. What's going to happen now?
That's the thing. It's like anything. If he could do anything, all of a sudden, if LeVar Ball disappears, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's about right. Or maybe he has some tax problems. Well, who knows? I don't know.
I did think that. I was like, here comes the IRS after Big Baller Brand, looking into some of these numbers. Because Trump can do that.
Are you kidding me? You do this.
Like snap of a finger.
He just got 3 kids out of a Chinese prison.
Yeah.
And by Chinese prison, I mean very nice 5-star hotel on Lake whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it was a great move by LeVar. This one might come back to bite him in the ass. And that's where I was going before Jake called, which was a great call. Jake, thank you again, brother. It's just that for people like LeVar Ball, when you're not checked and you keep shocking and you keep pushing the line, eventually he's going to go over the line somewhere where people like me who actually support him and really like what he's doing are going to turn on him.
Well, that's
just the way it goes. I mean, he's not going to rein himself in at any point.
Nobody thought it would get up to him against the president. This is as high as it gets.
He probably did.
What is he going to take on the Pope after this? Like, what's next? He's probably sitting there going, holy shit, I'm in a battle of words on Twitter with the president of the United States.
Like, he has nowhere to go now but down. Like, you're right. He's already, reached the apex, the pinnacle of it all. So now, an argument with Charles Barkley seems, mundane and silly.
Yeah, of course. He's, in a way, he's better than that. Taking on Barkley and Shaq and the whole TNT crew and Stephen A.
Well, that's his ultimate Trump card
me?
now. He'd be like, dude, you're just beneath me. I argue with Trump. So,
oh, man.
God bless you, LeVar. Glad those kids are out of jail. We'll see. Time will tell. Hey, here's the point. And here's the other point about those kids, though. If they are bad kids, it will flesh itself out, and they will do something wrong again, and they will pay their penance. They're still young, but they shouldn't rot away. And people are like, oh, they're so dumb. Let them rot in prison. Come on. What are you angry at, in your life that you want, 3 kids or 18 years old to be stuck in a Chinese prison?
But to add to that point, and this is so ridiculous, not that anything shocks anybody anymore with this president, but our president tweeted, should he have left them in jail? To your point. That's our president putting that up on social media. I can't imagine Obama ever doing that. Even George Bush.
We live in great times.
Are you kidding me? This is what it is now.
We live in wonderful, wonderful times.
Unbelievable.
I wouldn't want to be alive at any other time.
Now we got to see what LeVar Ball does next. What's the next plan? Are you sticking with none of those kids play this year?
Yeah, that's been my whole contention since it happened. They're not going to play. I can't see any way. I think at some point they'll be reinstated, be able to practice. They'll give them those privileges, but it's like anything else. You got to earn your way back on.
Yeah.
I think UCLA would look like if you're you're a college, like you take kids on and you nurture them and you want them to leave better than they were when they got there and like grown men and have values. So I don't think ditching kids when like they're young is a good message to send, because then it's like, wow, if I'm a young kid, why would I go to UCLA if I make one mistake?
Right.
What, they're just going to flush me down the toilet?
Do you think them firing Jim Mora last night was a little, hey, look over here?
I would say that, other than the fact that Jim Moore should have been fired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no choice.
Yeah,
But
you lose a rivalry game like that. Yeah.
They definitely like false flagged it, trying to, a little smoke and mirrors, but it'll go away. I mean, we talk about this all the time. The news cycle is here today, gone today. So this whole LiAngelo Ball and all that stuff, it's just not going to matter in about 2 or 3 days. Lonzo made some shots last night. Life is good.
Another triple-double.
Yeah, he's
16 rebounds or something absurd, right?
It's just a shame that he sandwiches these triple doubles with complete nothing games.
But it's fascinating.
I can't figure it out.
Watching the highlights of that game against your Sixers, whether it was Simmons on him or anybody else, when he got the ball above the arc, it was almost like playing pickup ball, and like the guy who has never made a basket from out there gets the ball out there and he squares up, and you just back up and you're like, look, this guy's going to shoot. That's what they were doing to him, and he was missing terribly. They weren't in and out. They weren't back rim. They were like no rim, backboard, awful shots. And then he comes out and puts up a triple-double.
And that's the whole point. If he makes shots, he's going to be fine. But I mean, I do that to people in our Saturday game who are really good basketball players playing college. Yeah. But I will back up off people like 5 feet and just stick my arm straight out. It makes people uncomfortable to be wide open shooting a basketball, especially when you've missed a few.
Yeah.
Then you're really like, you can see the wheels turning in their head. And Lonzo will be fine. That's the whole point. I've been having these conversations. People are just ready to bury this kid, man. Like everywhere I go to work, people want to talk about Lonzo. Oh, he's terrible. It's like, give me a break, man. Nobody wants to be judged on like 0.01% of their career. Right. This guy is like, we're not even like in December yet.
Yeah. And I mean, we always we do the show every Monday. We talk about Overreaction Monday in the NFL, but especially after that Sixers game, they say, oh, just give the trophy to the Sixers. Forget the Celtics, the Cavs, the Rockets, the Warriors, just the Celtics. Give it to them. Or the Sixers. Well, so this thing with Lonzo, yeah, he's a rookie. He's a kid. You're being compared to Magic and Jason Kidd, which is why. But like, we've talked about this ad nauseum, mostly with quarterbacks, and that's funny because we'll get into the quarterbacks right now with Rosen and Darnold, going at it this past week. But we need that instant gratification of a rookie coming in and being Tom fucking Brady in their first couple weeks. Are you kidding me? Look at the rookie up in Buffalo yesterday. 5 interceptions. That's impressive.
That's the fun part about sports, though. So I go into work Saturday night. I'm working with my friend Parker, who listens to the show. Shout out to Parker, good dude. So Parker, he just people just want to start hating. All right, so I had a buddy walk up to the bar, starts ripping Lonzo. Parker piles on. And I'm like, you guys are just haters.
What was he saying? Like, what was he ripping
all
Lonzo?
All the Lonzo, he can't shoot, and his elbow's out here, and just like dumb, lazy takes that it's just easy to pick on these things. Mm-hmm. And then Embiid comes up. Now, Embiid's coming off maybe the greatest 2 games in LA history by a visiting player.
Yeah.
All right. Like, he just decimated both those teams. And then Parker, well, I don't like all this Olajuwon talk. Like, people are saying he's the next. I'm like, well, here you go. He's not Olajuwon yet, but that's the whole point of sports conversations. Mm-hmm. Like, it's fun to, project people out. The rational part of your brain is right. He's not Olajuwon because he can't even play 50 games in an NBA season.
Yeah.
However, you can't take away what he just did and then try and projecting it out and saying he's going to be better than Olajuwon. It's just a fun conversation.
Yeah, of course.
So people lose their minds a little bit with, wow, that's just bullshit, man. He's not going to be. Well, no, you're right about that. But damn, that guy's really good.
Remember
7'2".
Oh, dude, he's great.
Soccer feet.
Not to mention, as soon as he gets in the locker room, he's on Twitter saying something funny. He's entertaining.
Well, that's what Durant said the other day. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Yeah, the Sixers were up 22 at the half. I did bet Warriors second half. The freest money in the history of gambling. Warriors outscoring by 32 in the third quarter, but
Yeah.
Durant's like, yeah, we didn't want to lose because we didn't want Embiid to call us out on Twitter. That's the greatest thing I've ever
funny.
heard.
Some people got pissed at that. I think that's great. That's 100% great. If that's your motivating factor, I mean, to get these guys motivated, especially when you've won 2 out of the last 3 championships and you're playing, a shit team in the middle. You're playing Milwaukee on a Wednesday night. Like, how do these guys get motivated? That's funny. If that's what it takes, that's it. Going back to Lonzo real quick. You remember, was it 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago? Rondo was putting up like stupid assist numbers, 20 a game. Probably had an uglier shot than Lonzo.
People stood in the lane.
Same ballpark.
Yeah.
But when you're putting up 20 assists, nobody gives a shit.
Totally. It's so funny, though. Those guys played point guard so differently.
Yeah.
And I love how Lonzo plays as opposed to how Rondo plays. Rondo has to beat the ball into the ground. He has to be the one to get the assist. It's like he'll dribble around until he finds somebody that's open.
Yeah.
Whereas Lonzo, a lot of his assists just come naturally in the flow of the game.
Of course.
Pushing the ball. And that's the thing that, and again, it's just the way society is. We all like to complain. We all would rather hate than like something. I get all that. I'm probably guilty of it sometimes as well. But how many times you listen to people go, oh, man, these guys just beat the ball into the ground and dribble too much. Now I hear people complaining that Lonzo doesn't dribble enough.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
he
it's
doesn't want to
everything.
dribble. He doesn't want to dribble, man. He just gives the ball up. It's like a hot potato in his hand.
But to your point, what you just said about having that natural assist that Rondo had, there's plenty of times, and this team's all about spreading the ball around. They have so much potential on this Lakers team. They might get the ball to Ingram on top of the key and might be running a little, I don't know, pick and roll with Randall or something, or get the ball to Pope, and then that's when Lonzo needs to go to the wing, which he does, and then people jump right on top of him and say he's not being aggressive enough.
It's infectious.
kidding me?
If you know even like a third grade level of basketball, you can watch one half of one Laker game with Lonzo on the floor, and even if he goes 0 for 7, you realize the effect that he has on the game just by ball movement alone and movement and the way everybody else plays when he's on the floor.
Yeah.
So if people can throw their numbers and their stats and their shooting and it's historic. You love historically bad shooting numbers, worst in the history of. That's great. You're right. Can't argue that. You're 100% right. That team is still like fucking 500 somehow. They were terrible the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
They're winning games.
They're exciting, too.
And they're exciting to watch.
I know Matt McAllister just joined. He's one of my buddies back from New York. Big basketball guy. Let me know your thoughts on Lonzo from the other coast. If you think we're all insane for giving this guy way too much publicity. We talked a little LeVar Ball before. One of the things I heard
Real
him
quick,
say.
so do you call him Matty Mac?
Absolutely, we do.
All right. I was
My
gonna
mom
say,
calls him Matty Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone calls him
it
Matty
would be a
Mac.
tragedy if he wasn't called Matty Mac.
And you know what his mom's name is?
What?
Patty Mac.
Patty Mac.
Patty Mac.
Nice.
One of the things Magic was saying, and if Magic's going to be critical about Lonzo, that I'll listen to.
Yeah.
One, the guy kind of knows what he's talking about. Probably the best point guard ever in the conversation for best player of all time. Works for the Lakers organization. I know Pelinka is technically the GM. I'm going to say that's Magic. Okay? He said when he would get the ball on a fast break or just bring the ball up the floor, he would go as fast as he possibly could. And every once in a while, he'd look around and nobody would be there. And he'd go to the hole. He goes, but everyone on those other 4 guys would realize, holy shit, I got to keep up with him and then get out ahead of him. So he goes, it would take a little while, but then surely enough, I'd have 2-3 guys running out ahead of me, and we were the best fast break team in basketball. He goes, that's what Lonzo needs to do. Don't walk the ball up the floor. Get up the floor as fast as you can. Those guys will adjust, and they will realize that if they have to get up the floor faster than you to get the bucket. And he goes, that's what he needs to do. And that's a simple thing. Push the ball.
Oh, it is. And people like to make things out to be way more difficult than they are. You know, you got all these numbers and your analytics, and you're like, if he goes to the left. No, like, it's that simple. Like, just push the ball. But here, again, Lonzo does it so differently than any other point guard because he's advancing the ball through the pass. Very rarely do you see Lonzo dribble the ball. I mean, he does sometimes dribble the ball over half court on a fast break.
Yeah.
Almost every time he's pushing it up to KCP, pushing it up to Brandon Ingram. And these guys are all running and sprinting. And look, we're not going to get in like a Lonzo love fest, which we're on kind of right now, but the guy's going to be fine. The guy does too many things well on a basketball court. He's made shots his entire life. He's not all of a sudden going to stop making shots for the rest of his life.
Right.
Once shots go in for him, everything else is going to be so easy.
Oh, yeah. And I heard that, that narrative a couple days ago, too. When things are going well, everything goes well. It's like you're throwing a basketball into the ocean. Once you start making shots, you can do anything. And then the assists come, and all of a sudden those rebounds are coming right to you and starting that break a little bit earlier.
Hawk Morris on the message boards, talking about his dad. Shout out to Hawk, saying that his dad, amplified his struggles. But again, I've made that argument that in the long run, this is going to help him be tougher. Everybody's going to come at him now, and they're like Patrick Beverley. That makes you a better basketball player. You find out what you're made of in those moments. If Lonzo cowers down in the first year to all these guys, then you realize, maybe he's not going to be what we think he is. I don't think he's cowered in any way, shape, or form. He's still playing his game, and his teammates really have his back and really like him, which is a great sign. And that's what Luke Walton said the other day. I don't care what people say outside this locker room. Everybody on this team loves him, loves playing with him in practice. That's all that matters.
Yeah. He's going to be fine. Like you said, this everyone expected him to be in the MVP conversation already. Let it go. Yeah, man, he wasn't even a number 1 pick. If you really want to get defensive about that, give him some time.
Matty Mack, you want to read your boy Matty Mack's comment?
Yeah, I mean he's talking about the Knicks, man. It's exciting for the first time in a long time. We are, and you can relate to this. You guys are a lot more exciting than we are now, but it's very exciting right now for the Knicks. That what really got them was that loss to Cleveland when they got up in LeBron's face and Nicolita and Inez Kanter and all them. That's the first time in the last 15 years we've been like, they're a team. Oh my God. They're actually a team. They're getting each other's back. They got a little bit of fuel, which I don't understand how playing in the Garden for 15 years, that fuel gets sucked out, and that's Carmelo taking all the energy out of that place. But it's kind of, if Kristaps goes down right now, then all the energy is just gone.
And that's the thing. I love what your boy said here. For the first time, he's yelling at the TV again.
Yeah.
I know Rob is enthused about the Knicks right now.
Dude, I get texts from Rob all the time now. It's great.
Yeah, but I get it. But these are all the same people that were defending Carmelo. It's not Carmelo. Here's the thing. Carmelo's gone, and now guys give a shit. Guys play hard. Even when you watch a game at MSG, that Cleveland game, for example, I feel like the fans are more engaged.
Oh, 100%.
The fans like this team.
Absolutely.
Way more than any Melo team. The Melo Stoudemire teams were soulless mercenaries.
Right.
You couldn't get behind them. When Jeremy Lin came along, that place was electric again.
Lin said, because you know why? Who was out for that?
Melo was out.
Carmelo was out.
This is a real thing. You can have sympathy for Melo, but don't ever tell me that rooting for a Melo team feels good. It just doesn't feel good. Knicks are fun to watch. Ntilikina is going to be really good. He's not an explosive athlete like a Dennis Smith Jr. or maybe a Donovan Mitchell, guys like that. Mm-hmm. He's just a young kid with extremely long arms that understands the game, plays incredible defense, and is a natural point guard. He is a perfect fit with Porzingis. Perfect.
I'm getting some shit on the board here from your boy Stringer. We are. Because I said we for the Knicks.
What's Stringer saying about who's the we are?
When I said we're getting excited about this team.
Oh, he's calling you out because you're
out.
Picking and choosing. You're a Ram fan and a Knick fan.
I can be both. They don't play the same sport. Last I remember, I know this is a sports show. We should probably know that. I enjoy this Lakers team. I enjoy this Knicks team. That's it. I like the Rams. That's it. I was getting some more shit. Someone said, "Oh, your Jets." This and that. I said, "No. It hasn't been my Jets for 10 years. Get him out of here. I'm done."
Quick shout out to Loud Eddie on the message board. He was one of our sideline guys for a game up in Oakland. Thanks for joining us, Eddie.
He just hit us on Instagram.
But here's the thing. I love
how he can watch. So.
I love that these dudes fuck with you, dude. I love it because they're on my side. You are a Benedict Arnold. All right?
How? Oh, wow.
You are an absolute
Are we addressing
Arnold.
this right now, then?
You've now, you're just picking and you're plucking all you have a sampler platter of, sports teams that you like.
In football, how do I have a sampler platter?
I like the Knicks.
Wait, okay. Different sport. Let's deal with one sport at a time.
You had a Montreal Canadiens jersey on the other day.
I just bought a Blackhawks jersey.
Who are you? Come on.
I'm shocked we've gone 34 minutes without talking about my Eagles, but we'll talk about that in a bit. No, Rams and then Knicks. Yeah, Knicks. And then I like it when the Lakers are good. You know what? This is going to drive some of you fucking crazy. I like it when the Dodgers are good. It's great. I love it. It's fun. I like that team. I'm a Yankee fan till the day I die, 100%. But I like this Dodgers team. That's it.
Oh, hey, you're maybe it's like it's your older age. You're a father now. You're kinder and gentler, and you're afraid to take a stand for what's right and what's wrong. You're kind of like straddling the fence, which is fine. A man doesn't always have to choose sides. You can just you can like the Rams, and you can like this team over here, or you can be a Sixer fan and win 10 games a year for 5 years, but still not waver in your commitment.
You've never wavered.
Your loyalty to just knowing one day it's going to turn around and maybe you'll win 30 games in a year and it'll feel so much better than actually winning a title. Them winning 30 games, they won 28 last year. They're going to win like 35, 40 games this year.
Yeah.
Every win is going to feel like winning a title this year because of languishing.
Right.
And that's how every Jets win felt for me through you this year because you just laid them out. You're like the person that has a kid and just leaves it out there. Hopefully you put it outside the fire station and the fireman adopts this kid and the kid grows up to be the strong fireman who saves lives. That's what the Jets are, Mike. That's what the Jets are to me. Go ahead.
I got nothing. I looked at the board. All of a sudden, you're talking about leaving a baby on the street, and then the Jets. But I didn't hear anybody say Mastros, so I don't know what is going on there.
Where did this come from?
We got to go to Mastros. We need to pick a date. I lost that bet. What do the Jets have now? 5 wins, something. We got to pick a date because I owe you Mastros. I know that Meeks is going to come on a separate tab. Wayne Morris, who's active on the board today, he said he wants to come. This might be like a 12-person dinner because everybody wants in on this Mastros.
The Mostly Sports Christmas party at Mastros. We'll take 11 separate checks, please.
Yeah, they love that at Mastros. They love it. And then Jeff Kurtz is going to be paying for everything.
Curtsy.
Yeah, so I still say my Knicks. Sorry, Stringer. No. Yanks to Mets. That's been 100% my entire life. I enjoyed it in '86. Everyone thinks Yankees and Mets fans hate each other. The Mets are like our little brother. I enjoyed it in '86, though, man, watching them beat the Sox. Sorry, Jake-Head, that was awesome. And then the next year, getting to play RBI baseball on Nintendo and to play with that Mets team, that was awesome. That was awesome.
That Mets team was absolutely loaded.
But then so were the Sox, too. You played with both of those guys. You know?
I get the fandom thing because here's the thing. The Eagles are obviously really, really good. Yeah. All right? And I've said it over and over again, and I'm honest about it. I'm not the biggest Eagles fan. Because Eagles fans always bothered me growing up, and I didn't want to be associated with how angry they were. Because it's it's just a football game. Settle down. I hate the song. The fight song is the worst song ever created.
We know how to spell Eagles.
But fuck, I'm from Philadelphia, and it is I do find myself. I'm watching last night, and I found myself cheering out loud. Something I never do watching a sporting event usually, and. It's just in my bones, and I can't deny it.
Of course,
but I feel dirty doing it because I'm not. I was not fully all the way in
because of the whole true fan thing.
Well, yeah. Now that they're good, I can't all of a sudden be wearing Eagle green out because then I'm a poser. But I can root for them still.
Yeah.
So you gotta check yourself as a fan.
Did you want the Dodgers? Did you want the Dodgers to win?
No.
Why?
Because I bet on the Astros.
Taking gambling out of it.
Well, that's impossible.
I know. No, that's why this whole thing has maybe gotten so cloudy. Because do I give a shit if the Lakers win or the Clippers? You know what? No, I really don't give a shit. It's fun. I enjoy it when they're good, but
I didn't want the Dodgers to win.
At 9:00 at night, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, I could live bet the Clippers right now against fucking Portland. Yeah, all right, let's go Clip, and then I can start yelling at the TV. But I don't give a shit.
No, the honest answer is this: I didn't want them to win because I think that no offense to LA fans. Well, yeah, no offense to LA fans. Yeah. I just don't. It's not the same. I think there's too many distractions. I don't think LA fans are real fans. Yeah, there are some, like my buddy Lee, and there's other Dodger fans that are diehard. My buddy Mike Piz listens to the show. He's a real fan. He's a diehard fan. I'm speaking collectively. If that team sucks, nobody's going and nobody cares. That's the true mark of a team.
For what team?
For the Dodgers
or
the Lakers. If the Eagles were 0-16, they would sell out the link every single game.
We come from a different place, though.
But that's where I come from. So that's all I can speak to. For Jarvis, it's Alabama football. They live it and breathe it, and they're having conversations about it in April and March and September, and it's.
Well, college football is a totally different beast.
But the Eagles are like that in Philadelphia.
Of course,
that fandom is equivalent to a college football crazy. All encompassing kind of feeling.
And you know what, New Yorkers, well, I'll say this. New York is very proud to be that same thing. So is Boston. I'll put those 3 cities together. But the Knicks have been terrible, and people have, I'll say, been very LA with the Knicks over the last 15 years.
It's a long time, though.
And that sucks, man. And we're not used to that. We're not used to that at all. But and that's shitty that we're using LA as this term. But like they've been very LA with the Knicks because they've been terrible. Now all of a sudden they're good. And I read the Post every day still, and you just see people are wearing Porzingis jerseys everywhere, and people are talking about it. And there's just and that's the way it is. Even in New York,
it's not even close. There's New York as a basketball city, and then everybody else is just kind of playing for second and whatever.
But that's
it's the best basketball city that we have.
Of course.
New York is an incredible basketball town.
And we've been wavering for 15 years.
But that's 15 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Like if you have 5-6 years of downtime, you can kind of endure that. Like 15 years is a really long time to hold on because people are dying. Frankly, you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, you're dying, you're dead, and then you're not passing it on to the younger generation. And you said 15 years. There's kids that like have never seen the Knicks be good. So why have any kind of like visceral connection with it if all you've seen is mediocrity at best?
I've seen the Knicks be good, and then John Starks ripped my heart out. We had 2 chances to win. They get to beat Houston. Starks 3 for 17.
Yeah, but that's
something
a good
like that.
thing, though. You don't look back on that as a bad thing.
It was a blast. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like that's if your team is good and you get your heart ripped out, like if you're the Red Sox with Buckner and all that stuff. Yeah, that sucks. But man, what a cool ass feeling.
Not one Red Sox would say that's a cool ass feeling.
Maybe because they'll like throw the narrative of like the curse of Babe Ruth and they'll be like really dramatic about it. But the bottom line is this: at the end of October, you were glued to your TV set for 7 games. And like you felt so good and a great connection with your city and with your friends and just like it was like in your like just coursing through your body.
100%.
And win or lose at the end of the day, and that's why the Dodgers losing. And that's what I said to my buddies that like paid the $1,500 to go. I was like, "Did you regret?" Like, and they're like, "Nope."
Of course,
they lost. I was bummed, but man, I got to be at a Game 7 of the Dodgers. I was like, "That's a really mature answer."
That's cool.
Yeah, and they're right.
They're 100% right. Me, on the other hand, we've talked about that. I wouldn't do that for anything. $1,500. I've seen it enough at Yankee Stadium. I've seen it at Shea or Citi Field, whatever the hell it is.
Pennsylvania.
All
this Pennsylvania crap.
41 minutes is our first Pennsylvania reference.
That's all Stringer says. He's on our little message board for the Headerman. Always just every other, like he has Tourette's syndrome.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
It's great.
It is great. Eagles are good, man.
Croce, we'll talk college football in a little bit. UT head coach, we are not going to even get into that until Chip Kelly decides where he's going.
What the hell is the
not
Egg
UT.
Bowl? Iron Bowl and Egg Bowl predictions. What the hell is the Egg Bowl?
I don't know. He's also asking about the UT coach.
Croce. Well, he's a Southern guy. He went to Ole Miss. So, like, all he wants to talk about is college football.
Why does everyone... let me say this. And there's been a few... We'll transition to college football now, I guess. There's been a few people who have said UT coaching job is a top 5 job in the country. Okay? Why? Because they're orange? Because it looks a little different? Because they have checker marks in the end zone? Why is Tennessee a marquee... Not even a top 5. Why is it a marquee job?
Name 5 jobs better. There you go. I mean, you threw it out there. You said it's not a top 5 job. Name 5 better jobs.
I'm going to say Alabama. I'm going to say Texas. I'm going to say USC.
You just said Texas. UT. Is he saying UT is in University of Texas or University of Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Oh, that's not. It's like a top 20 job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That job sucks.
Texas is a top 5 job.
Yeah, Texas is totally a top. That's what I thought he was talking about. And that's the point. When you say UT to me, I'm thinking...
You think Texas.
I'm thinking Texas. I'm not thinking about goddamn Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's a terrible job.
I mean, they mentioned this on the radio last week. They said, is Gruden going to go to Tennessee? I said, what? Are you kidding me?
No.
I know Gruden's name comes up first every time, but, like, come on.
Here's
Tennessee.
The point. The worst fan base to work for is a fan base with, like, unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
So every Tennessee fan thinks that you're just supposed to walk in there and we're Tennessee. Oh, well, all right, we're a top 5 team.
Take the game then. You guys win.
Tennessee is a terrible job. Terrible, terrible job.
I throw Miami in there too. Eddie, that's a hell of a gig right now. This team, the turnover chain, baby. That's a fun team to watch. Unfortunately, I think if they do make the Final Four, they get smoked. I know they embarrassed Notre Dame, who everyone automatically had in, but I love this time of year because the conversations around all of these games, and then you throw in Auburn and Alabama and Georgia, and what happens if this guy beats this guy, and then this guy has to go play this guy. It's awesome because there's 8 million different scenarios right now, and in a week from now, they're not going to be the same. They're going to be totally different, totally turned upside down because we got championship weekend.
Yeah, they're getting everything they wanted when they created the system with the top 4. And then people are like, "Oh, there should be a top 8." No, this is perfect.
This
four
is great,
four
man.
is
I love
perfect. This Miami Clemson game for the ACC championship is going to be off the charts amazing. Bobby Hayden, I apologize. Miami's going to get smoked. They are an absolute fraud. They are absolutely overrated. Notre Dame is nothing. They smoked a very average USC team at home. That
Wait,
barely
who did?
Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
Miami destroying
I thought you were
Notre
talking
Dame
Miami.
at home in the biggest game of their season in front of and I give them credit. Miami fans showed up. They were fantastic. Miami went to Virginia and struggled. I get it. Hangover
Struggle
game.
against everybody.
But Miami struggled against a lot of people this year. Smoke and mirrors. Clemson wins that game by 2 touchdowns. Bye-bye, Miami.
And Clemson's in, and then you got Alabama going to Auburn this weekend. Okay, Auburn 2-loss team if they win, and then you got Georgia play. And then the thing I like best too is I was watching something on Fox Sports last night, and it was all these analysts talking about it. Finally, Robert Smith was like, "Guys, we got to stop talking about this because anything could happen this way." And everyone was like, "Dude, we're doing a TV show. This is the whole point of what we're doing here." I love the fact that, and this is as objective as I could possibly get, I love this whole chaos. USC has they said a between 25 and 30% chance of making that Final Four, which is insane that they're even being considered. But if they beat, it'll either be Washington State, or if Washington wins, they'll play Stanford.
No chance.
Zero chance. I think zero.
Yeah.
The experts are saying 30. The fact that they're even talking about it I love it. I absolutely love it because it makes
Zero.
people so angry that a 2-loss Pac-12 champion, Power 5 champion with 2 losses might have a chance to get in. I don't think they could beat any of those teams in that top 4 right now or even be competitive with any of them. Maybe Miami they could be competitive with, but all those other teams, Bama, Oklahoma, Clemson, even Auburn, Georgia. Forget Wisco. I still don't respect Wisco at all.
USC is horrifically bad.
Yeah, I know. But the fact that they're even talking about this makes me so happy because it makes people so angry.
We got Croce is still clamoring about this Egg Bowl. So I'm gonna indulge him.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the Egg Bowl, but I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. We're not gonna talk about the college football teams because I don't even know who he's talking about.
I gotta look it up right now.
What's your favorite style of eggs?
Egg.
Like, do you like
I love it already.
do you like a poached egg, a scrambled egg, an over easy egg? What are we talking? Like a eggs Benedict? Favorite egg dish? Favorite 2? Give me your 2 favorite
So
egg
it's
dishes.
Mississippi State and Ole Miss.
All right,
I love a good Benedict.
all right.
Okay, even if it's without the ham and the hollandaise and the English muffin, I just like that egg. It's cool.
Like a poached egg.
Yeah, poached egg. You dip
Can
a
you
little
poach
sauce
an
in.
egg? Do you know how to?
I think you just drop it in water, right?
You
And then
get, you get the water circling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you take like a little spoon and you get the water going in a little whirlpool.
Real quick, I don't mean
Yeah.
to cut you off.
No,
this
go
is this conversation is already 10 times better than the actual egg bowl.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is that game even on TV?
Probably not. Probably
Probably
not.
like old time radio, AM, somewhere like an AM
ESPN
dial.
12
590,
Yeah.
something like that.
AM dial.
But yeah, no, a Benedict I think is you almost have to take it out of the conversation because eggs Benedict is the greatest egg dish
Yeah.
ever created. I'm gonna bring in a sleeper for you. You know what I like? A nice frittata.
Oh, so you're getting too fancy now. There you go,
No,
dude.
I like to start the eggs on the stove, and
that's
then I
a whole
take this
thing,
and I
right?
put the pan in the oven. Gets like just kind of comes together nice and hard. You put some mushrooms in there, a little onion.
I'm coming to your house for breakfast.
Oh, dude, I love a good frittata. Big frittata guy.
What? But then you got to throw in like burritos, and you got to,
No. The breakfast burrito is the most overrated burrito in the history of burritos.
Whoa. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but now that
No.
we're there, are you out of your fucking mind?
Breakfast burritos are so
Where are you getting
overrated.
your breakfast? You're probably doing like Whole Foods or some of that BS stuff that you bougie people in Santa Monica do.
No, I'm a white trash breakfast burrito guy. I want eggs, cheese, hash browns, and then like some kind of hot salsa, and I'm good. You know what I mean? But then people try and put like this fancy pico de gallo on there.
Pico de gallo is delicious. It's so
And-
refreshing.
But there's too much. But here's the point: there's too much like burrito. I feel like on the two ends are just bites of dough is all you're eating. The middle of the burrito,
Okay.
all right, kind of tasty.
Okay.
But when you give me something that 30% of it is just dough, I'm good. I'm out. I'm out on the breakfast burrito. I'm out on wraps. Wraps are the most overrated food of all time.
Okay.
Never had a good wrap in my life.
To your point,
Yeah.
Jason Segel nailed it in I Love You, Man. When they're walking out of James Beach, not too far from us, very good fish tacos. He goes, yeah, they make the tortillas in-house. It sets up the flavor for the whole dish. In a breakfast burrito, do you know what the most important thing is? The tortilla.
And
Because of what you just said. You go to a good place. As Jen and I went yesterday, we went to Tarasco's down in Torrance. It was spectacular, and it was so simple. It was cheese, egg, potato, and chorizo. Phenomenal. Tortilla was a 10. Needs to be a good tortilla.
it's just tough to do. That I'm not saying it can't be pulled off. It can be pulled off. I've had a good breakfast burrito before. But if you line up 10 of them, 7 of them will be terrible. 1 of them will be passable, and maybe 2 of them will be really good.
Well, then you go to those 2 places then. They got Croce's talking about Bagel Nosh. I lived down the street from Bagel Nosh. They had some phenomenal things at Bagel Nosh. You know what was not one of those things? The breakfast burrito.
Terrible.
The breakfast sandwich on an everything bagel was spectacular.
Spectacular.
They had a jalapeno bagel. Delicious. I never got the breakfast burrito, and every time Jen got it, she was disappointed in it.
Hawk Morris goes, just Googled frittata and poached eggs, white people.
And he goes, you just call him bougie.
Bougie. Yeah, just out. I'm out on breakfast burritos. I'm out on wraps. I'm out. I don't know. I like a regular burrito, which is weird. But even that, I don't know. I like what's in the burrito. Invariably, I just open it up and grab a fork and eat everything that's inside of it. Sorry. I know you're disappointed.
There's a picture of Bagel Nosh.
Yeah, you're not
That's
even
awesome.
You're not even
That's
mad.
awesome.
You're just disappointed.
I just
That's
no.
like
I
the
just
worst.
I don't. You know, Egg Bowl Thanksgiving Day,
Yeah, this is the best egg bowl conversation ever.
without question.
Yeah, just put eggs. Like I like scrambled eggs with some cheese, and I like
Dude, I was just gonna
some
say
wheat
that.
toast.
I was just gonna say that. Just sometimes simple scrambled egg, some delicious cheese, and hot sauce.
Do you put water or milk in your scrambled eggs when you
Do a
whip
little
them?
milk.
A little milk?
Yeah, a little milk.
Butter, Mike. That's the key.
'Kay.
Anthony Bourdain does a nice little thing on the internets, on the World Wide Web, where you watch him cook the perfect scrambled egg.
Yeah.
Just a couple knobs of butter, and you always keep the eggs moving in the pan, always,
Really?
and they get real. You don't beat them first in a bowl. You crack them in the pan, a couple knobs of butter, and just keep them moving around,
Okay.
and then boom, they fluff up perfectly and nice.
See, I like it when you have like a egg over easy. Is that what it? When you put
Yeah.
the toast in and it just kind of dribbles around. I like that.
There's also a few things like more rewarding than making an over easy egg in an egg pan and flipping it,
Flipping it. Yeah.
and the yolk doesn't break. You just feel like a boss. And then you look around. Is anybody around to see that? I wish I videotaped that. Like you just feel really accomplished. So Croce, thank you for bringing up the egg bowl.
We got to go get a breakfast burrito now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the egg bowl or the football game.
or breakfast tomorrow because I know what I'm doing.
As far as the game goes, Mississippi State's probably going to roll, right? Doesn't Ole
What did I
Miss-
say? It was Mississippi and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry about that. Ole Miss stinks, though. I'm pretty sure.
But okay, so to get back to sports at some point,
At some point.
you talk about these teams with expectations. You're Mississippi, not so much Mississippi State, and Dylan Meeks is not on the board right now. He could shed some light onto this. If you're like Ole Miss, you have that kind of air of we're going to be good every year. Meanwhile, take us who are both coasts, whatever. Not once have I ever been like, wow, Ole Miss. You think Ole Miss, I think like, oh, that's where fucking Eli came from. You know?
Yeah.
That's it. And then you got this team, they think they're the shit in an insanely tough division. I don't think me as a college football fan have ever given them any respect whatsoever. Do you, Jarvis? As an Alabama guy? None. Is that because of your Alabama tie? Okay.
Who do you respect in the SEC? Anybody?
He better say Auburn
Not
right
really,
now.
right?
He
It's
better
just-
say Auburn.
Auburn right now, but typically no.
When is that game? 2 weeks? Yeah. What are your quick thoughts? For everybody, Jarvis is a huge Alabama fan.
It'll be tough, but I mean, I still think Alabama's gonna pull it out.
Games in Alabama?
Yeah.
What's the line going to be?
No,
Alabama.
game's in Auburn.
Is it Auburn?
Yeah.
Ooh, game changer.
Yeah.
What's that line? Alabama
I'm looking it
by
up right now.
less than a touchdown? I'm going to go Alabama by 6. Man, Auburn's on a heater, bro. They're on a little
Dude,
heater.
Auburn is ranked 6th. They're as hot as any team.
They're feeling themselves, too. I always like seeing a team that's feeling themselves.
Bama -4.5.
Wow, Jarvis shocked. Tywee's got a really out of him. All right.
Dude,
Some
Auburn,
doubt creeping in over
Auburn
there.
embarrassed the number 1 ranked for 1 week, Georgia. Smoked them 40-17. God, I love this time of year for college football. There's so much shit going on. I love it.
Well, we do it every week. Who's your 4 right now? After watching this week,
It didn't change from last week.
Who was your 4 last week? I forget. I'm old.
I believe it was Bama, Miami, Oklahoma, and then I think I put
No, who's your 4
Auburn.
at the end of the year going to be? Not now. Who's your 4
At the end
come
of the
the end
year?
of the year? Who's your 4 going to be?
I mean, that the SEC is such a nightmare. They could get 2 teams in the Big Ten.
You can't. SEC can't get 2 teams.
Yeah, they can.
I just don't think.
Absolutely, they can.
I don't. For some.
Pac-12 is not going to get anybody.
All right, well, give me your 4, and I'll give you my 4.
I'm just trying to talk through this. Pac-12 isn't going to get anybody. The Big Ten might possibly not get anybody. If Ohio State beats Wisconsin, you could technically leave them out. If the Pac-12 had somebody going in, you absolutely leave them out.
I agree with you. If Ohio State beats Wisconsin, neither team should go.
If Ohio State beats Wisco, that'll be a 2-loss Ohio State. That'll bump them up. Probably first ones out. Remind me to tell you something about Fiesta Bowl games, stuff like that, which I would want to change. Everyone wants to change the thing. I want to do that. Alabama.
1. That's one of your teams. Come on. Quick. Just off top of your head.
Clemson's going to win.
Clemson, good. Throwing Bobby under the bus. I like this. Throw a little Miami hate out there.
Oklahoma, Auburn.
Oklahoma and Auburn. But by saying Auburn, you're saying Auburn will beat Alabama.
And then if Auburn,
then win the SEC title.
But if Auburn beats Bama, how do you put Auburn in and not take Bama with 1 loss?
No, I think Bama's in regardless. Even if Bama loses to Auburn. But then here's the argument. Why should Bama go over Georgia?
Exactly.
And I don't know how the
losses at
division's
the
set
end of
up.
the year weighed so much more.
Well, how did the division set up? You tell me, and maybe Jarvis can tell me. So if Auburn beats Alabama, Auburn goes to the SEC championship game, I imagine. Is that correct?
Beats Bama, yes.
All right. Who would they play? Are they playing like some shitty team from like the other half of the SEC? Like I don't even know who would be winning on the other side.
Let me bring it up right now.
Are they
Let me
playing
bring up all
Florida?
the situations here.
Because that's the thing. At the end of the day, Auburn's going to have 2 losses. Have we?
Oh, look at Georgia.
So they'd have to play Georgia again.
Yeah.
So then what if? So then that's the point. So
That's
then
the-
if
that's the what
Georgia,
if.
so Alabama loses to Auburn, all right, and then Georgia beats Auburn. Georgia gets in.
7-1.
Georgia has to.
Georgia's
get
in.
But then
Alabama would have 1 loss, but they don't play in the championship game.
But then Clemson wins and Wisconsin wins. There's 3, and Oklahoma wins and then Alabama would be out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jarvis. But I think
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
Because Alabama would be essentially penalized for not playing in their championship game, in the conference championship.
well, here's my
If they don't
4.
beat Auburn. Oh, I love it.
Here's my
love
4. Now let's get back to reality. Alabama's going to win. Alabama's not going to lose to anybody. That was fun. It was fun
It's
playing.
fun. It's so much fun.
Make believe time was great. it was great. Jarvis is getting ready to pull plugs out and like be on his way for the day. But it's Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Final 4. Boom. There it is.
25% chance Pac-12 gets in if USC wins. Other than that, they're 100% out. I just like it because of the bedlam it could possibly create.
Yeah, I just don't see how that's. a lot
Croce,
of
they're going to
weird
put
stuff.
Notre Dame in before they put 2 SEC teams in.
No, Notre Dame can't get in. You can't lose to anybody by 35.
Let me see. And then you got, this whole Wisconsin thing, too. If Ohio State comes back and beats Wisco.
And Notre Dame hasn't played Stanford yet, I believe. They still have Stanford on this. Stanford's
They
good.
play this week.
I think Stanford's going to beat Notre Dame. So
If Stanford beats Notre Dame, I think Stanford beats Washington State then, or Washington beats Washington State, which would mean Stanford goes to the Pac-12 against USC.
But yeah, moral of the story, it's great. College football, again,
awesome.
just so much better than the NFL. Every week we rack our brains trying to figure out how we're going to talk about the NFL for 30 minutes, and we end up talking about it for like 15 minutes tops. Gambling,
I got
fantasy
another one
football
for you.
are the only things that are exciting about the NFL.
Oh, dude, the NFL sucks. We've gone 58 minutes. We haven't even really talked about it.
No, I'm
So,
fine with that.
okay. Auburn beats Alabama.
Okay.
And then you got both teams 10-1, and then Georgia beats Auburn.
You're trying to create the most ridiculous scenario possible.
Well, no.
right
So
now.
here you go. You have Georgia wins the SEC. They have 2 losses. Auburn has 2 losses after a huge win against Alabama. Alabama has 1 loss.
Wait, why would Georgia have
makes
2
it?
losses? If they lose to Auburn in the championship?
Yes.
Well, then Auburn just gets in, hands down, not even a question.
And
Because they
then-
would have beaten Auburn. And,
Oh, sorry.
And
And then how do you? But that's the question. Then how do you take Auburn and leave Alabama out? If they just lost to.
but if Auburn
just
wins
lost
the
to Auburn.
SEC, they're just in.
Oh, they're in. But I'm
Yeah.
saying then how do you leave Alabama out with 1 loss? with a heavily weighted loss at the end of the season, where like that weighs so much heavier than the Oklahoma beating Ohio State in Ohio State in the beginning of the season.
Here's where like I like to keep things super simple. I'm a big head-to-head guy. The end of story. Head-to-head, you won or lost, boom, one's in, one's out. Second off, if you control your own destiny and you don't answer the bell, then you have to like
That's Wisco.
That's Wisco. That's Alabama. Like they are going to directly play these teams that are in competition with them to be in the Final Four at the end of the year. They have everything at their fingertips. Granted, they're very tall tasks. Going into Auburn and winning for Alabama will not be easy. We saw Alabama struggle on the road against Mississippi State last week. That place is going to be in a frenzy. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a tough spot. These are young kids, but again, Bama controls their own destiny. Just go win your games that you're supposed to win.
Right. But then you start getting into, I agree with you, and that sounds great in theory. Now let's get to reality. Okay? Alabama loses. You talk about strength of schedule. I mean, they're talking about it on the message board right now. Everyone destroys Wisco for having an obscenely easy Big Ten schedule. They don't play anybody this year. The first ranked team they played was this past weekend. They played Michigan, who was ranked 24th. That sucks. But I'm looking at the numbers right now. Their strength of schedule is 62nd. All right. Do you know what Alabama's is? And nobody really talks about it except for they beat Mercer by 56.
What is it?
60th. They're 2 teams higher than Wisco. Okay, so that's going to come into play if Alabama loses. Alabama, by the way, I took 49 points against Alabama. Mercer was 49.5, and they still couldn't cover in a college football game. 49.5 points, and they win by 56. That was one of my tough losses. Actually, not that tough.
Big B saying, obviously, that last year Penn State won the Big Ten and didn't get in. They took Ohio State. So winning the conference doesn't necessarily automatically put you in over every other team.
Of course, because there's 5 teams. There's 5 conferences.
I agree with that. But that being said, if Auburn wins the SEC, there's no way in hell they're not getting in. There's just no way.
I agree. That's given.
Yeah.
But then you get that conversation that, okay, well, Ohio State beat Wisconsin. Do you take Alabama with 1 loss over somebody who wins the Big Ten? Arguably the second toughest conference.
It's going to be good. Just win your games, though. That's the point. Just win your games. If you don't get in, you can't gripe and complain. If Alabama does lose and they don't end up getting in, it's their own fault because they lost. Just don't lose. If you want to get in, just win games, especially at the end of the year. You can lose games early. You just can. That's the way it works. Mm-hmm. All right? But if you're losing at the end of the year, it doesn't matter who you're losing to. It's still an L.
Right.
So.
And they're so much heavier back then. Croce, we talked about that before. If SC beats Washington State in the conference championship game, can they sneak in? I think right now there's between a 25 and 30% chance of that happening. Washington plays Washington State. If Washington wins, then SC will play Stanford. Super small chance. I doubt it, but very small chance. They got the strength of schedule.
The Apple Cup is a way better game than the Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl? I don't even remember hearing about the Egg Bowl.
Egg Bowl. Like, are they really playing for an egg? Like, I'm picturing some Fabergé egg that they stole in, like, an Ocean's movie.
Oh, I was thinking like an ostrich egg.
An ostrich egg?
Like a big egg.
And they make a frittata with it afterwards?
They would need to call you and Bourdain in for that one.
Now we're talking.
Show us what you're doing.
That would make that game
SC, strength of schedule 10. These are all things that come down to. I understand what you're saying. Just win. And, yeah, that's nice and easy. Okay, if you're Miami, if you're Wisco right now, okay, just win and you're in. That's it. But that's to the teams. And Bama, if they win, they're in. They got a tough one in Auburn. Oh, that's going to be so nice. One of the things, too, that I would want to...
Real quick. No, yeah. Morgan Barkley on the message board complaining about schedules. So because you were talking about strength of schedule and this, and because you don't know. That's the point of like the Wisconsin defenders is, well, they schedule this stuff 3-4 years out.
Yeah.
Like usually a win against BYU at BYU is a good win. They don't know that like
they're going to be
teams
terrible.
in the Big Ten aren't going to be
Nobody wanted to schedule Boise State 5 years ago. Now look.
So so like UW, he's saying getting crushed for playing cupcakes, and it's like they didn't know. They scheduled the games 5 years out.
Yeah.
Well, you have to. He's saying, why do they do that? Maybe not 5 years out.
I think it's 3 or 4. Because I remember when they announced that SC was going to play Alabama. So holy shit, really? And that was a while ago. And then we got the Texas thing going on right now too.
It's big business, man. So you can't just schedule this stuff like the year prior.
One thing, no,
for
that's
travel
not the way it
plans and whatnot.
The thing that's ridiculous is with Saban, is people are starting to realize the genius that he is. He doesn't schedule these teams, these USCs, these Florida States at their spot. They didn't come out and play in the Coliseum. They're not going to go and play in Tallahassee. They play in these top teams in neutral spots. because it is really hard. And I understand he still has to go through an SEC schedule, and playing an unranked LSU is a lot tougher than people have an
way
idea.
tougher.
But those out-of-conference games, sure, they played Mercer. They beat the shit out of Mercer this week, or UL Monroe, whoever it was.
Great scheduling.
That's great. They don't have to go into anybody's, except for that SEC schedule. They don't have to go deal with that, and that's huge.
Well, they're again. We're on an Alabama talk, like it's an Alabama talk show. But like they're above any reproach. Like you really can't question anything they do. Like
Right.
if they beat Mercer like last week, like you can't say, oh, cupcake. Bama just beats everybody.
Right.
Like put anybody in front of them. They're like they'll play anybody. But
I
Saban
think-
is just so good at the rhythm of the season, like starting them out with like a really tough game to get them into it. Then they have like a cupcake. It's just their schedule always just seems to
perfect.
line up really nicely for them.
Well, because one of the arguments with some of these weaker teams, like take a Notre Dame, an independent, the argument with them, if they had not gotten smoked, would say you take a team like that and you put them in the SEC, that SEC schedule where you have to play Auburn and then LSU, and then you get a bye week, then you play Bama instead of playing Air Force and Illinois and these random teams, that destroys your team. Alabama is in that just grinder, but you're right, they split it up. They're not necessarily bye weeks, but playing a Mercer is a bye week. I'm taking Auburn plus 4.5 right now, and I'm going to buy it up to 5.
Morgan's saying that the internet exists, and that makes life easier for scheduling these games like closer to game time. I get that. It definitely does. The internet helps. So
That SEC, getting back, that schedule is brutal. Even if you are Alabama, look at Alabama. I mean, people can run on them. They're half the defensive line's out. All of their starting linebackers are done. It's that SEC schedule, and Alabama's the top dog. Imagine some of these other teams. Imagine a shitty Tennessee team who has to bounce around from Auburn to LSU to Ole Miss.
did you not go to UCLA this week?
I didn't.
Croce offered me tickets to go with him. I turned him down. He's
It's fun to
saying
go
he's
once.
disappointed. Yeah, I had no
It's fun.
desire to go to that game, and it was awful to watch.
Yeah.
It's a terrible game.
Yeah.
Maybe because I bet the over, but it was just
16 was
bad.
the line.
What's the story there between Darnold and Rosen? One of them, their fathers both work at the same hospital, but one of their dad's the doctor, the other dad's a janitor. Did you hear that?
And I did not.
That's
I
like
know they've been buddies for a while, but just from coming up through the camps and all that stuff.
But that's like a fascinating little thing. Both their dads work at a hospital. One's a janitor, one's a doctor. I
didn't
don't know which one is which. I'm guessing Darnold's. If I just had to go by it, Darnold's dad is the janitor, and Rosen's dad is the doctor.
Okay.
Because Rosen seems more entitled.
Well, janitor could buy a nice house in San Clemente then.
I guess so, but like Rosen seems way more entitled to me than Darnold. Darnold seems like a nice kid. He just kind of like his post-game interviews. He's concise. He's just kind of like about his business. He's going to be a way better NFL quarterback. Rosen likes to chime in about
You think
every
so?
little thing. Yeah, I'm not high on Rosen.
What a confusing time for this kid right now. They're still saying they're going to be the 1 and 2 picks this year without question. But after this last game, you go on and all these, again, I'm putting up quotes, experts are saying without question he should not come out. He needs another year. But he's still going to be the first or second pick, but he needs another year. I mean, it's going to be the difference between going to Cleveland and going up against DeShone Kizer for a shitty starting role in an awful, awful system, or you get to go to New York and study behind Eli for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. Getting accused of, is it a Jewish thing? Because he's a Jewish doctor. Dr. Rosenpenis?
What do you do if you're him?
You just go. You just go. I don't think sticking around is going to help your stock at all. You know, it's probably
if you're the
it's
first or second pick, of course not.
you know they know what you are at this point. Just go, just get there. You can't pick and choose. You don't know what's going to happen. The Browns are probably always going to be in that little mix,
Yeah,
regardless.
that's the thing. They could be there next year.
So why wait a year?
That's it. I go back if I'm him.
Why? Why is that?
You're not going to get. You're either going to get reps in Cleveland, and you're going to get destroyed and just be one of the 36 Cleveland quarterbacks who started in the last 3 years, or you're going to go to New York and not get any reps. You know, I'm a fan of that. By the way, I'm a huge fan of that. I know, Morgan's on the board. He's going to talk about Flynn studying. Coming on studying behind Rodgers, who studied behind Favre, and then they pick up Flynn, and he sucks. But if you can get to the Giants, you do that. You study under Eli. A lot of those experts will say, no, that's the wrong move because you're only going to get 20, 25% of the reps in practice. Okay, that's fine. He's going to get 100% of the reps if he goes back to USC. Okay, college is fun and all that, but you can go pro. You go pro, and you could study under somebody like an Eli Manning during a huge rebuild where the situation is pretty clear. Eli, you're the quarterback for the next year, and then we're going to push you aside because this kid's coming in. Eli would say, yeah, all right, that's cool. There's no BS in that situation. You do that.
You're treading dangerously close to Marv Marinovich territory. You're trying
No,
to
get out of here.
You're trying to orchestrate way too much shit. Whatever happened to I'm going to be like a top 2 pick in the NFL draft.
Then at least call me Archie Manning or Elway's dad.
I just wanted to say Marv Marinovich.
I know,
but like you're definitely trying to figure this out way too much. How about this? You're just good at quarterback. I just want to go play in the NFL. I don't care where I go. Oh wait, hey, the Browns suck, but I want to be the guy that turns the Browns around. How epic would that be?
You know how many people have tried that before? You know who's a good quarterback? Tyrod Taylor. What happened to him? He got benched. He took the Bills to 5-4. The Bills being 5-4 is phenomenal for the Bills. They, for some reason, didn't think so this year and said, get Taylor out of there. Let's put this rookie in. Oh, wait, he's thrown 8 passes, 4 of which have been interceptions?
Is that the lesson you teach your kids, Mike? Oh, this is hard. Don't do it. Is that the lesson?
No, you keep telling. Why did they go away from Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo?
Oh, I'm just saying about going to Cleveland. All right, they've sucked. You said how many people have tried it and failed. Yeah, I know that.
I'm being realistic.
The carnage is real.
I'm being realistic.
But step over all those dead bodies of Tim Couch and Johnny Manziel and Spurgeon Wynn. I know you were a big Spurgeon Wynn fan when he played for the Browns.
I love how optimistic you're being here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you are a top-tier athlete and you are a top 2 pick in the NFL draft, take the challenge on. Go be the man. Don't say, well, I get to go study under this guy for a year, and then maybe the stars will align, and this will happen, and then, they'll get a wide receiver. No, just go play effing football and be good at it.
You know who the MVP in the NFL is right now? Like, without question. It's not even close.
Carson Wentz. Yeah.
It's Aaron Rodgers. Without question.
I was wondering where you were going.
It is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers studied under Brett Favre for a little bit. It worked out pretty well for him.
Okay.
He's the MVP right now. The Packers are so bad with a UCLA quarterback.
That you can't say he studied under, so that's an absolute that you. Because then I just go to my Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman argument. So they went 1-15 and won Super Bowl.
But that's fine. But then if you want to take an absolute argument, look at every single quarterback who's been in Cleveland. Who was the last good one? Bernie Kosar? What was that? 1979?
Who's the NFL? Who's the real MVP of the NFL? Carson Wentz. Did he start first game as a rookie? He did.
He did.
Yeah. So.
And then who's he always going to be compared to? Jared Goff. Did Goff start right away? Yeah. Did people write him off and say, get him out of here? Get Brady in town when the Patriots get rid of him? Maybe I was the only one saying that.
Goff and Lonzo have a lot in common. Career trajectory wise.
And you think Lonzo's going to, because Goff, I mean, take out this past weekend, he lost to a much better team. But
Goff has been fantastic.
He's been unbelievable.
He looks like a great NFL quarterback. He's going to be around for a really long time.
And the narrative changed on him so quick. So quick. And then, here's a good point, Wayne. When Sanchez came out, people said it's way too early. Was it too early for him? Yeah. I mean, he went to the AFC Championship game. He had one of the best defenses in the last 10, 20 years, but he was a game manager for that team. When Deshaun Kaiser said he was coming out last year, Brian Kelly, who I can't stand, the coach of Notre Dame, he goes, this is a horrible decision.
He was right.
I told him to say no because he went to Cleveland. You put him in a different situation.
Don't be. Hey,
who
Mike,
knows?
The moral of the story is this. Don't be a pussy. Just don't be. If you want, just go play. If you are good enough, you'll be okay. Yeah, you need to be in the right system. No, we've talked about this. If Deshaun Watson went to Cleveland, he would still be good, though. He wouldn't have been winning games, throwing to DeAndre Hopkins and throwing to Will Fuller and being the most electric rookie we've seen in maybe 10 years. But we still would have watched him play and said, wow, if they just get him a little bit of help, that team's going to be pretty good.
A little bit of help is huge.
Yeah, so we watched Peyton Manning when he was 1-15. At no point did I say, wow, Peyton Manning's a bum. I said, wow, this guy's really good. They're 1-15.
And there were plenty of people back then who were saying he was a bum, and they should have picked Ryan Leaf instead of him.
Well, those people are idiots, though.
But that's everyone we're surrounded by them in the sports world. People think we're idiots right now for trying to figure this out. Nobody's going to figure it out. Either the kid's going to come out or not. He's sitting in his dorm room right now laughing at all these a-holes on sports radio this morning talking about whether a 20-year-old kid should be coming out to the pros.
I'm just saying this. You can't go pro and try and orchestrate it. Just go pro. If you're going pro, just go. Don't do all this like thinking about like, well, if I go here, this could happen. Well, what teams are projected to be here? If you're a man, just be a man and go play.
That sounds so great in theory, but that's not the way it is.
Well, I think that you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball if you're already just trying to align the chess pieces to help yourself out. You're already like saying, I'm selfish. I need this all to be my way. And that's not the way to play sports. I think the way you play sports
that's what people
and
do.
you win hearts and you win minds is to just go out there, throw it on the line, be a man, and your teammates respect you, the fans will respect you, and things will work out if you have talent.
Joey Bosa, as a rookie, he held out because he wanted to have it his way. He had to earn that respect totally back from that Chargers team because the Chargers organization's dog shit so bad that Archie Manning would not let Eli go there. You would think, oh, how cool would that be to go play football in San Diego? Win or lose, nobody gives a shit. I get to live in
I'll
San
either
Diego.
surf or ski. You're like Kush from Jerry Maguire.
I would say the standard in Denver is a little bit higher than in San Diego.
Like Brock Osweiler. Hawk Morris talking about him on the mess. I don't even know what that question is. Brock Osweiler sucks. He passes my criteria. Good-looking dude, great head of hair, tall guy. He's terrible quarterback.
Morgan brings up an interesting point. If you take Browning out of the equation in Washington, put in either Rosen or Darnold, Washington's in the Final Four. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The difference between Browning and those guys isn't a big deal.
If my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. You can't just like take people and move them around and say if this guy was here.
But okay, Dak. Let's take, I know, Morgan, we talked about this a long time ago when it was Geno Smith and Russell Wilson. You take two quarterbacks who at the time wasn't a huge debate in difference when they were coming out of, Wisconsin, NC State, and West Virginia. Russell Wilson goes to a phenomenal program, an unbelievable defense, mediocre offense, but good system for him. You take Geno Smith, you put him on the shitty Jets. I would like to see what happened. You switch those guys around.
Geno Smith would have been terrible. That's what would have happened.
I don't think so.
It's not even a debate. Geno Smith would have been terrible. Russell Wilson's a winner. He was always a winner.
Then why is Geno Smith still in the league?
Because
if he was that bad.
Because quarterbacks in the NFL suck, and they refuse to sign Colin Kaepernick. And Brett Hundley still gets, and that's where like Mike McCarthy is hysterical because he's just being so stubborn about I'm just playing my guys, and it's so obvious that Brett Hundley is just like not an NFL quarterback.
Right.
That I do agree with your point. Like it does go to show like, wow, how good Aaron Rodgers is because that offense with all of the same parts.
Yeah.
Was as explosive as it gets.
But you throw, and again, I'm trying to make something out of nothing here. You take Hundley and you switch him with Dak right now. You give him that offensive line and this is before last week where everybody got hurt on their defense, a good defense, unbelievable offensive line, and the best up-and-coming running back in the league.
Okay.
He's going to be a hell of a lot better than what, in Green Bay.
But I think you're misconstruing my argument. I'm not arguing. You are correct in that. Like, you do need to be in, especially football. Football more so than anything else. Like, you need to be in the right system to succeed most of the time to get, like, your full potential.
Yeah.
But then there's also part of the equation that's just like, fuck it. Let's roll the dice.
Go play ball.
I'm just going to go play ball. I'm not going to try and be I'm not going to be the puppeteer like Brian O'Sullivan's book. All right? You can buy it on Amazon, I'm sure. Brian O'Sullivan. Shout out to you, buddy.
Oh, I thought you were just pointed. I was like, who are you pointing to?
I don't even think we're on camera right now, but I was pointing. But you can't be the puppeteer, man. Like you gotta just.
But these guys, every year there's someone who tries to be a puppeteer.
And it rarely works out. When you talk about somebody being a puppeteer, are you saying it in a kind way? No, usually that guy's like a total narcissistic dick, and that's not like you think about the great quarterbacks, like respected. We talk about that all the time. If Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Joe Namath, and Johnny Unitas walk to the car, who you throwing the keys to? Right? I'm throwing them to Brady. Maybe Montana. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Dude, I didn't even say anything, and you're already having a tough time with your question.
I am having a tough time with it. It was Brady.
I throw Carson Wentz in there right now, too.
I might throw him to Joe Montana because Joe Namath's probably drunk, so he can't drive. Right?
I don't even know why Namath made that analogy.
Because I'm just picturing like the fur coat. Because he's just a pimp, man. I mean, one of the all-time great pimps in sports history.
That's pretty funny. Going back to something real quick, and then we'll talk, I guess, NFL and how good my Eagles look. The thing I would like some of these bowl committees to do is mix it up a little bit. Okay? USC, they're saying right now, if everything kind of goes according to plan, they're going to play Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. Enough with this shit. Put them up against like a Georgia, a team that they don't see ever. the Big Ten winner usually plays the Pac-12 winner in the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is one of the 3 championship games this year, so they're going to do something else. I'd love to see Pac-12 SEC. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see them go against a Georgia or an Auburn if they don't get in. Enough with the Penn State USC, the Washington Ohio State. Enough with that. They're scheduled to put Georgia up against right now? And I want to see this Georgia team to see what they do. They were ranked number 1 in the country, and they lost. They got smoked. They're going to put them up against UCF right now because UCF is 10-0. That game, the line on that game is going to be like 28.5, maybe 30.5. So mix it up. That's it. You don't need to respond at all. I don't give a shit. Just mix it up a little bit.
Well, I'm always in favor of having fun. Obviously, like I am a big proponent of the bowl system. I love the bowls. People are like, just get rid of the bowls. Well, that's just stupid.
Who says that?
It's like angry people. They're just like, the bowls.
Who are you hanging out with? You're hanging out with angry people and idiots all the time.
A lot of angry people. Well, angry people hang out in bars. So I work in one, and there's a lot of angry people. So I like that though. Have fun with the bowls. Have like fun matchups. I liked it every year. The Holiday Bowl. You just know it's going to be 2 teams that can't play defense.
Right.
And the over-under is going to be
shootout.
82, and it's going to be awesome. It's
everyone's
going to
take
be in
the
San Diego.
over.
Yeah. So just how about that? Have more fun in sports. Let's make sports fun again. Mostly sports.
It's an interesting mood you're in today.
Making sports fun. Well, it's a holiday week.
If you're
man.
good, just
Come on.
be good. If you're just win. If you win, just win. If life was as basic as the lessons you're teaching today,
well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep life simple
Simplify.
for people, man. The holidays are coming, man. People have a lot of stresses. People are worried about the end of the year. Maybe they got bills to pay. They got to buy clothes for their kids and presents. You know what? Just keep it simple, man. Maybe your kids are just really nice and they'll be grateful to get, like one present.
no, nothing.
No?
No. The rose-colored glasses you're looking through,
Well,
my
it's
man.
rose-colored Monday.
We got to
today.
have something ready for Avery like every hour. She's a sweet kid. It's unbelievable. All right. You're Chip Kelly right now. Are you going to Florida? You going to UCLA?
UCLA.
Why?
Because it's comfortable. It's the West Coast. I already have my recruiting in place. I've recruited on the West Coast. I've had success in the Pac-10. Teams can't stop anybody in the Pac-12.
Okay.
So, I'm an offensive quarterback or a coach rather, and I want to coach in a league where people can't stop anybody. And it just you have resources galore. Not that the other places don't, but UCLA wants a winner so freaking bad. You can taste it. Like it's just UCLA wants to be good. I mean, every year the hype train around here is off the charts at the start of the year. I mean, you spend a shitload of money on Jim Mora. They want to be good, and they don't want to lose to USC every year. End of story.
Okay.
I would go to UCLA, hands down.
Okay. I 100% go to Florida.
Why? Why do you want to go to a defensive-laden conference where Alabama is going to embarrass you every year, regardless of what you do?
Well, that's exactly the point. You've proven yourself in the Pac-12.
Now you want to step up to the challenge. Now, I can't figure you out.
Well, there's a different situation. Now you step up to the challenge.
What's the difference
If you
between
can
this?
what's better in college sports than unseating Nick Saban?
Oh,
or
man.
you take the NC State job to try and unseat a Roy Williams or a Mike Krzyzewski.
This is like the prestige. I feel like you have a twin brother that
I'm working on something.
That
here. I'm working on
your
something.
seat in the last
It's
10
all
minutes.
part of the plan for today's show.
Then keep going. What do you got for me? Take me on your journey, your magical journey.
You've already proven yourself in the Pac-12, and after you've exited, you've seen how awful that Oregon team has become. You go to Florida, man. You change it up. You get to go from living. You do the West Coast, great. Then you go to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to where's Florida? In Gainesville. You go do that. You go. It's a whole new
It's
thing.
like not even the nice part of Florida.
No, it's shitty. But you get to go experience a whole new thing. Totally different recruiting, different kind of people. You get to unseat the best coach in college football history, maybe, and the best team in college football history. If you could take down them, you're playing. It's just fun every week. You don't have to go play in Washington State or Corvallis in Oregon. You get to be in Florida. What's worse? The only thing, the shitty thing in Florida is the old people driving and the humidity. Humidity's awful. That's like a big thing. But it's a whole new thing. The UCLA can't throw any money at you. I think they were saying that the Florida offer might be double what this UCLA offer is going to be. And I totally disagree with you. I'm sorry about how UCLA's dying for a winner. Dude, they don't give a shit.
You look perplexed at that one.
all.
Well, what do they call that when kids leave college for a year? The something year.
When they go on a mission?
But it's not like you're not a Mormon. You're
red
not
shirt
being
year?
weird. But like you just take like a
Sabbatical?
It's a sabbatical. There's a name for it. And it's
Okay.
like I used to go like grow and like you go to Europe for like 6 months or whatever.
Okay.
I feel like that's what you're telling me is you're selling Florida. You get to go to Florida and you
Dude,
get to
I'll
do
sell
this.
Florida all day
You
over
get to do
Oregon.
that. Yeah, but we're talking about L.A., son.
But you're second rate, man. You get to go work for a team.
Justice Ross, thank you. A gap year. That's what it's called.
A gap year. Okay.
A gap year.
Dude, you get to go work for
You're selling me on
a secondary team.
the
I mean,
Chip
they might
Kelly
even be
gap year.
tertiary behind like LMU football.
Whoa, tertiary.
Yeah, that's right.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, Ross, that's it. Florida owned SEC under Meyer. And then Saban came on. And you
Yeah.
could be the next top dog.
Times
Dude,
have
Urban Meyer might go to the
changed.
pros next year.
My point.
He might be the Giants coach next season.
I'm speaking specifically about styles. All right, Chip Kelly's style is just better.
He would transform the SEC with his style, that hurry
Wow.
up, super fast-paced offense.
Chip Kelly's done so much transforming since he left Oregon. Give me a break.
Dude, he transformed football when he was at Oregon. Are you kidding?
And then he went to the Eagles, and then he went to the 49ers,
that's
and was
pro
terrible.
and college football. Two totally different things there.
I also think
sent
Domino's
him to
wings are
Florida.
good. I do.
Don't say this bullshit. Oh, it was on the board.
Yeah, Justice said that on the board.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Hey, I, like
I thought you were
Domino's
just
wings.
trying to like say something ridiculous. That is
No.
ridiculous, by the way.
I don't think it's what's
That's
ridiculous.
so ridiculous. Now we're off on a topic. There you go. You knew you were going to lose that argument, so you just start talking about wings.
I would go to UCLA. I think that's a no-brainer. I just think you're making like. I think if you're Chip Kelly, here's the other point of this equation. If you're Chip Kelly, you know what you need more than anything in life right now?
A challenge.
Just a win. You need a fucking win. You need a life win.
No,
all right?
you don't.
You
He's
don't.
fine,
You don't
man.
need another challenge, dude. You've already taken on 2 challenges and
You could
failed
dominate both coasts.
miserably.
Both coasts. If he unseats Saban right now, even if Saban leaves and he goes 10-1 at Florida, maybe 1 national championship, a couple SEC titles, okay, that's good. That's great. Are you kidding me? You get to go to a phenomenal program, a top 5 job, if I should say, maybe number 6. But this is a no-brainer. And I'm all for the guy who gets to pick going to live another. When Albert Pujols said, I'm taking $10 million less to go live in Newport Beach and play for the shitty Angels, nobody gives a shit about baseball, versus staying in St. Louis, I said, dude, yeah, that's a no. When you're dealing with $180 million, $10 million isn't that big of a deal to go live by the beach in Newport.
I disagree. I like it though. No, it would be fun to watch him go fail because he's reached that like Tyson zone where it's just fun to watch him just go places and fail.
Is that you being the Philly guy?
Well, there's definitely some Philly. You know, you see it on the message board a little bit. Like what he did to the Eagles was just set us back a lot of years, and luckily we've been able to come out of it way quicker than I thought we'd be able to. But it just, I would go to UCLA. I'd prefer LA over Florida.
See, I think there's zero expectation.
He
in
needs a
UCLA.
win, and there's no expectations. He can come here. He can kind of blend in. It's too high profile for him, unless you know that Nick Saban has like early onset dementia, and in the next 2 or 3 years he's going to be
He's
gone.
going to take the Giants job. And then he's going to coach Sam Darnold in 2 years.
Saban did wander into a meeting the other day with the press,
Yeah.
and just immediately started going off on a rant about ripped jeans.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I thought was really awesome.
Dude, both those guys need to change, man.
Like that's how bored Saban is. He just goes in and starts talking about ripped jeans.
You come to UCLA to be the football coach. I think there's next to nothing expectations. And then after the first, the 1 and 2 start, everyone says, all right, basketball season's got to be getting close. And then your basketball team isn't that great right now either.
Yeah, I mean,
It's one of those Mississippi. It's one of those old Miss things. UCLA thinks they're great at football, basketball. They haven't been lately.
When did you become a retiree championing Florida? You hate Florida. I was in Florida with you twice this year, and you hated it. And now you're Johnny Florida?
Dude, I loved Florida this
You
year.
complain the entire... I did
Do you know how
too.
fucking humid it was?
It was humid. I agree with you.
And I had to wear a
complained with you.
sweater to keep up with you. It was 80 degrees with like 90% humidity, and I had to wear a cable knit sweater just to keep up with you. Jesus.
Florida is in the bottom
Florida's great.
third of states that we have in this country. Like if we were like
Ranking
condensing,
states?
if we were condensing the country into like 25
You think they're
states,
third tier?
yeah, if we went down to 25 states, I would just like have Georgia and Alabama absorb Florida, and Florida would just be gone. It wouldn't be called Florida anymore. Or you could just give it to another
What?
country.
Based on our trips this year?
I just don't like. It's a weird place, dude. I think weird shit goes on down there. Like old people freak me out. Like I don't want to see the future. I don't want to see what I'm gonna look like. I just want to like live in my moment right now.
I don't even know how to argue this. Florida was awesome, dude. Boat campers. We're sitting watching 12 TVs, eating delicious fajitas with boats like 10 feet away from us on the channels or whatever they call them.
If your argument is that Florida has TVs, like that's not a great
They
argument.
have a lot of TVs.
Yeah, there's TVs everywhere.
Chip Kelly, if you're listening, go to Florida. No brainer. Don't come to LA. Nobody's going to take your program seriously because nobody considers UCLA a serious football
Chip
program.
also loves hot tub life. All right, he loves the babes.
But hot tub life in Oregon is a different thing.
Yeah, but hot tub life in LA, up in the hills,
Dude,
with like
that's-
models and actresses. That's Chip Kelly life, son. Not with like Hooters waitresses that work at like Applebee's on the side.
Dude, we were in Fort Lauderdale. You go 10 minutes down the street to Miami. They invented hot tub life. You probably run into Pitbull. It just turns into a party.
Don't. That's low.
Yeah,
That's
see?
low. That's a low blow.
Pitbull,
You know I have a soft spot.
I
in my
know.
heart
That's
for
why I had to
Pitbull.
whip it out.
I don't know. People are saying you like bingo and shuffleboard.
Stand-up shuffleboard's awesome.
Tax shelters.
Stand-up shuffleboard's fun. It's, I mean, ever since the curling craze from the Olympics has come on, shuffleboard's got a new life.
We're almost back in a curling season, by the way. Aren't we in Winter Olympics year coming
Yeah,
up?
I think so. But then once it's over, we could go play shuffleboard.
We can.
It's awesome.
The Bachelor is actually having the Winter Bachelor Games this year on ABC. They're going to take
It hasn't been on for a while, right?
what, The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Well, it's coming
Is it?
back. But during the Winter Olympics, they're going to take cast members from all the different countries that have The Bachelor and Bachelorette, throw them in a house in Utah, and do like winter sports events. It's going to be incredible.
You know what? I'm probably not going to watch that.
You might want to take the 2 months off of the show while that's going on, because I will be.
That sounds so boring. It's
Hey, man.
boring enough watching the Winter Olympics with trained professional athletes who are at the top of their game in the world. Watching these idiots on The Bachelor do it, I can't think of much worse that I'd rather watch.
Go back to Florida. Go back to Boca.
When do the Gruden to UCLA rumors start? I mean, I hear he's going to be the USC coach next year because Clay Helton lost 2 games this year. So, they need a marquee coach. It's just anywhere you look, you get those rumors. Gruden's not going anywhere, man. If he hasn't gone anywhere yet, come on.
Why would he?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making, what, $6 million being an analyst? He doesn't have to coach. He doesn't have 850-hour weeks.
Some people just like their lives, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You can just like your life and be really like relaxed, and people like to put expectations on people. I always say it, athletes, coaches owe us nothing. If they don't want to be great, they don't have to be great. Paul George, perfect example, just content being a number 2, number 3 option. That's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with that. If Gruden doesn't want to coach again, I think that, like the ship has sailed. Like, why come back now?
Yeah.
Like, now all you can do is fail, and that's it. If you win, it's just like, I've already won before. He already won a Super Bowl. If he never won something, I get that. You're chasing something.
That's what Chip Kelly's doing, Jay.
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly's going to go to
What did he ever win?
chase
He
it over
he
there.
didn't win a national title.
No, he played for one. Didn't win it.
Yeah, played for one. Lost to, I think, Alabama.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Good defense there in the SEC.
A lot of good defense. A lot of speed.
He goes to Florida. He should go to Florida. All right, we got a half hour left. We'll talk. I mean, we've been sprinkling in the NFL. We do this every week. One thing before we even talk about the games, they were talking. Seattle plays tonight against Atlanta. Should be a good game. There's been a lot of NFL games this year that should be good games.
Where's that game?
I think it's in Seattle.
Line. What's the line? Seattle -2.5. I'm going with.
No, it's a pick'em right now.
Okay.
It's a pick'em. But one of the things I was listening to driving in, they said it's so great. I mean, we talked about this last week. Richard Sherman got hurt last week. I don't know if Morgan's still listening on the board. Richard Sherman got hurt last week, and they were blaming it on Thursday Night Football. Okay, because he only had 4 days off for the last game. I get that sucks. That's tough. If you look up the schedule for these guys, it totally throws up their weekly schedule. A lot of these guys aren't even ready to get back on the field by
Poor
Thursday.
babies.
But with those injuries that have been going on, they've had 11 days off now. And they've needed that. And that was the narrative all day on the radio today was this is great for Seattle. Yeah, they a huge loss. Chancellor out for the season. You got Richard Sherman getting hurt last week, done for the season. But now they have 11 days off. Once you get that Thursday night game out of the way, that's nice, man. You got a nice long time. And you get an extra day off because you're playing Monday Night Football the week after.
Yeah, it should be a great game. Battle of 2 of the best teams in the NFC. Seattle great at home. Lock of the day. You ready for the lock of the day? Mostly sports lock of the day. You can retire on this pick.
Go.
Atlanta. And a pick 'em. I'll take them. Sorry to all the
Look at you
Seattle
being a good
fans out
Rams
there.
fan. Look at you being a good Rams fan.
I think Atlanta's just a better team, but no Devontae Freeman hurts, so Tevin Coleman,
Yeah.
who I like a lot. He played at Indiana. Used to use him a lot in DraftKings. Yeah, just like Atlanta. I think it just seems easy to pick Seattle at home. That's like when your gut is saying, oh, Seattle at home and a pick 'em. It doesn't matter who they're playing. You're going to take them. The line is screaming to bet the Falcons.
The Legion of Boom is done.
When Vegas,
They're all turning 30, and they're getting old.
yeah, agreed. Those guys are getting older. When you see a line like that, Vegas is just really baiting you. Vegas is like, all right, let's just make this a pick 'em because people are just going to take Seattle because they're lazy and they think Seattle's at home.
Seattle at home.
Vegas does that shit on purpose.
No, I like that. Yin when they yang. Look
Take
at you.
the Falcons. There you go.
Nice work. All right, so quick rundown. Thursday night game sucked. Steelers destroyed the Titans. Vikings-Rams, I was hoping for a phenomenal game coming down to a last possession, and it was not. I was looking, it was 7-7 the whole time, and then I turned around and then looked back, and before I knew it was 21-7, 24-7 final. Tough loss for the Rams against a very, very, very good team.
Not a tough loss.
Not a tough loss, but
yeah.
With the momentum they had going on, they wanted to go in and obviously win that game. But the Vikings, I mean, no excuse. They were just better. They shut the Rams down on offense, which nobody's been able to do this year. They're number one offense in football.
Vikings are good. If you're a Johnny Ram fan out there, stay on your high horse. I love ripping you down and tearing you down. But no, that was, if I'm a Ram fan, I say to myself, if I have to go back in there and play Minnesota in the playoffs, I'm not that scared. Like, we were in that game a little bit. Our offense was horrific. They get a 65-yard Adam Thielen touchdown, which is a broken tackle, and he outruns people. Kind of a broken play. Mm-hmm. So, no, the Rams actually impressed me with that loss yesterday.
That's good. Wow.
Being nice.
That's
I told
saying a
you,
lot.
it's a kinder, nicer holiday me today.
I thought the Lions were going to destroy the Bears. That was a 3-point game. Did not see a single second of it. And then, look, they got like Jaguars, Browns. Ravens going up to Lambeau and shutting out the Packers 23-0. That's why I say Rodgers for MVP. Buccaneers, Dolphins. Nobody gives a shit if you live outside of Florida. Chip Kelly was watching that game very closely. Saints, Redskins was a much better game than I thought. We actually got a couple games this week. The Saints have just been on an absolute tear. Game went to overtime. Saints won it. Are you buying the Saints right now?
I am. I think that running back combination is one of the best we've seen in the last 15 years. I mean, these two guys are like
They're
just perfect
so
together.
Much fun too.
Mark Ingram back to life. Maybe he never died. He just kind of didn't get as many opportunities.
He disappeared for a little bit.
Disappeared for a little bit, but a trade, addition by subtraction, them getting AP out of there and just opening it up for Alvin Kamara to be a factor. In our one fantasy league, my buddy Parker has Kamara and Ingram. And he was like, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to play one and not the other.
do that.
And then I
That's
just said,
tough.
screw it, I'll play both.
Yeah.
And every week they combine for 50 points.
Yeah.
Because
you can't pick one of those guys. It's like picking a receiver on the Patriots.
Saints are good. I like rooting for Drew Brees. I don't know why. I have no definitive reason why I root for Drew Brees.
Right.
But I just do. I root for New Orleans. I like the town. And, that's pretty much the only reason I root for them. Just like there's just something about the Saints. I think it matters to their fans if they're good, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So go Saints. Saints-Eagles in the NFC Championship game. You heard it here first.
Could be.
That'd be a good one.
Could be.
Eagles might win the Super Bowl. And by the way,
there it is.
well,
Can you bookmark that right there?
bookmark it. Super
The
Bowl.
time.
Brady is actually the MVP favorite right now,
Yeah.
not Wentz.
Yeah.
Wentz is plus 200 to win the MVP.
You're saying that like kind of surprised.
Well, we talked about when Jake called in, like voters and winning votes and like voter mentality. People don't necessarily want to vote for Brady again. Like people want to vote for the new shiny thing,
Right.
because they want to say they were on it early. So
When you say people, you're talking about you.
me, but whoever the voters are.
You think so?
I think but that's you. Like you got on the Rams train. Like people want to get on things early so they can say when it's good that they were on it early. Like,
Yeah, but those are the BS people
like,
anyway.
Oh, dude, I saw Bruno Mars play at like a TGI Fridays back in like '97. Like people love saying that about music.
But I think
People
those
do
people
the
are
same
idiots.
thing about. Yeah, I do
People
too.
are like, oh, dude, when'd you jump on the ranch? I'm like, who gives a fuck? We're both fans now. Who cares? Like, whoa, you were a few days before me.
There's a hierarchy.
Well, you're a
though.
better fan then. Wait, come on.
I think you are though. I think if you get on something earlier than somebody else, you're a better fan. If I became a Ram fan right now, I'm not the same as you. You're better than me.
I'm not.
You are.
I would embrace it and say, yeah, dude, and then we can watch a game together. And you don't have to talk about Carson Wentz all day Sunday.
Point being, Wentz plus 200. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I might have to jump on that. Brady minus 200 is Brady's just doing what Brady does, and it's boring. People are bored by that.
I agree with you. I mean, it's, how do you not vote LeBron MVP every year? There's no, in basketball, they do it all the time. They want something new. They want just give me an excuse to vote for James Harden or
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Give me an
or Durant.
excuse.
Give me
That's
something.
well said. And
Yeah.
and Wentz will give you an excuse by the Eagles having the best record in the NFL, and he will have comparable numbers to Brady.
Who does it? I know it's the sports writers in basketball. Who does it in football?
No idea.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of grumpy old men, I imagine.
And that's why Brady's going to get it.
Like the same people that vote for
But okay,
Baseball Hall of
just
Fame.
to counteract your point right now, there's to all those people that you said, and I agree with you with that. There's those people on the other side saying we're not giving this to this kid. It says his second year. We're not. He's got to prove himself first. The MVP is kind of it's not a career award, but Some people say
not.
I'm not giving it to a second-year guy when there's Tom Brady in the league. That's a no-brainer. So
Well, no, that's not a viable reason. It is a one-year award if the Eagles have the best record in the NFL and Wentz has.
But that's the way it's
comparable
supposed to
stats.
be. But that's not the way it is. To your point, there's going to be people who say give it to the new shiny thing. Then there's people that say no, Brady deserves this, of course.
Well, Brady's great. So it's
Hot take.
Yeah, I mean, a hot take right there. It's just hard to argue. Brady is incredible. So that's the most compelling storyline of the year, maybe.
What's
and it's
that?
cool. Just like
Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz and the Eagles. End of story. Everything else is just like in the Rams, I guess. But
No, but they can't stand up to what the Eagles are doing right now. I think it's the Eagles. What else is it? The Giants being this bad? I mean, what are you going to talk about? How the Jets were looking for a quarterback at the beginning of the season. Now they don't need one, and the Giants are going to be looking for a quarterback?
especially after last
Who cares?
night. And I'm really bummed. I'm always home. Eagles Cowboys week. It just kind of works out that way. And sports talk radio for the entire week leading up to Eagles Cowboys is just
Fun
like
to listen to.
incredible. The number, like people just calling in saying like words like stunad and cockroach.
How'd you say Stunad again?
Stunad. These stunad Cowboy fans, these cockroaches.
Chopped it up too much. Let it flow a little better.
Stunad. Hey.
Ayo.
How's that, right? Just throw an AO at the back of anything. But yeah, big win. NFL, boring as fuck. That's all I got.
Yeah, it is. Same stuff every week. Did you hear the interview? I mean, the storyline with this Mexico City game, it was, this is going to be such a good game. It's going to be a shootout. No, the Raiders are not the Raiders that finished off last year. Okay, they're 4-6. They're atrocious right now. I think New England stayed in Denver last week to practice all week at altitude, and then they got to Mexico City very early. The Raiders left the day before the game. I think it's above Mile Highs, Mexico City.
Yeah.
And that showed 33 to 8.
Stadia Azteca.
Azteca.
Yeah.
Did you hear Brady? They were asking him what he did all week.
What do you say?
He's like, I don't know. I got nothing to do because my wife's not here. My kids aren't here. I got nobody telling me what I'm doing wrong at home all the time. And then he was like, sorry, I didn't mean that. Called out Giselle.
How nobody got food poisoning and that wasn't like a storyline is amazing to me. That's
what I was
probably like
wondering.
I would have taken food poisoning for one of the star players at like minus 2,000
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Yeah.
And we didn't hear one food poisoning story. Coming
Yeah.
out of Mexico City. You ever
Like
get, you ever get food poisoning in Mexico?
Not like horrible.
I've had it.
You've had it recently.
Yeah, my last trip down to Cabo, I had it. I mean, great way to suck about 7, 8, 9 pounds out of you. Not enjoyable.
Yeah.
No.
What was it? What do you think it was?
I think it was some shrimp.
Yeah.
I ate some shrimp.
That's the thing. You go to Mexico, I'm sure you don't drink the water. I mean, that's a direct thing. But everything you're eating, drinking, all that stuff, like the ice. You're not going to get booze with no ice. That's the water. Shrimp is cooked in water, it's all a part of it.
We got Roop on the message board wants to talk a little Thanksgiving dinner. I figured we'd get to Thanksgiving dinner eventually.
I thought we were talking about sick in Mexico.
Well, I mean, it's a segue into Thanksgiving dinner a little bit. I mean, I could talk about Thanksgiving dinner all day.
Yeah.
But it is funny. Everybody has it, and that's what I wanted Jake to kind of talk about when I asked him his favorite thing. Everybody has I feel like has a weird thing. Like everybody has a turkey. Everybody has stuffing and mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce. But there's always a weird outlier
Yeah, big time.
that people like. You'll have I'm sure you have like a brajol sitting there. You got, I don't know what you have. You got like some burrata and a tomato burrata balsamic salad sitting next to your, next to your cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
So he's asking what a standard Delco Thanksgiving compared to Bronxville and LA is.
Okay.
So we'll just speculate about LA. We can have fun with an LA.
Oh no, I
Thanksgiving.
have a good one for LA. It's my wife's family. They
What-
got a weird thing.
They got a weird thing. Well, what's
They got
your
a weird
weird
thing.
thing? What's the weird Bronxville Italian?
We have a tradition in my family. I think the dinner itself is usually pretty standard, but we do this thing in the early afternoon, morning. I'd say a little before noon. My grandmother gets these super hot spicy peppers, these Italian peppers. She grills them in oil and garlic and all that stuff, and we do it with a little charcuterie.
Oh, okay. A little Thanksgiving Day charcuterie. It's
And then we
nice.
sit down and we eat the peppers all together. Everyone, picks one or two and you eat them, and then, sure enough, everybody's in tears within a couple minutes because these things are insanely hot. And that's kind of just what we do. We do a hot pepper contest, and then we laugh at everybody while they're crying because they got the super hot one, and it's a great tradition. I'm upset I'm going to be missing it this year as I'll be in LA.
Are you usually home for Thanksgiving?
I haven't gone the last 2 years. It's a big bummer.
Can
But
you
Jen can't fly right now.
ingratiate this into your in-laws?
No, I need I need my mom. I need my sister. I need Grandma Rose.
You wouldn't
most
cheat on
importantly.
her. Oh, Grandma Rose is
Grandma Rose is the orchestrator for the whole thing.
Shout out to Grandma Rose.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
that's good.
Yeah. A little burrata.
Yeah, I was gonna say there had to be like some Italian. You don't
We
do
do all that
you don't do
Italian
the 7
flavor.
fishes or the 15
No,
fishes or how many fishes is it?
I don't know.
I can't even name 7 fishes.
We do that early too, and then once we get to actual Thanksgiving dinner, it's pretty standard. What about you?
Yeah, that's fun. You ask, and I'm struggling to think of anything like bizarre. It's just so fucking standard. Hawk's talking about sausage stuffing, and that's what I think of. Like my grandmother,
Yeah.
made like amazing sausage stuffing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not that bready stuffing we have. We have like real
No.
meat stuffing.
yeah, it's like unctuous, and it's like you can taste some fat in there.
Yeah.
And that's the best part. Do you like stuffing in the bird or out of the bird?
In. I like it in
Like
the
it.
bird. Yeah.
Because my mom would usually do like cook some in and cook some out, so you had your choice.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Yeah, in the bird
Yeah.
all day, every day. But yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. And I haven't been home for Thanksgiving in I haven't been home since I moved to LA. 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I miss going back east for Thanksgiving.
And
Big time.
In my last 5 years at home, we went out to dinner
Okay.
every year, which is like was weird at first because we always had a huge Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
And then everybody was just kind of spread all over the country, and then we started having dinner in Georgetown every year for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
At Clyde's in Georgetown, which is amazing. And it was kind of nice actually going out and having like people cook you Thanksgiving dinner.
We
no
always-
leftovers though, which was
That's the biggest
shitty
bummer.
part.
That's huge. I remember when Jen and I first started dating, the first one I had out here, we went out, and Jen's dad was furious because he realized like halfway through that there's no leftovers. One of the traditions we used to have, we haven't done it in a long time, is with that whole charcuterie plate and all that, going to like a New York deli and getting super thin salami and all those good Italian meats. Obviously, the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, we used to go out very hard. And we would always come home, and it would be almost a tradition. It would be me, my sister, and then whomever else was there. Jen, my brother-in-law, or whoever else was staying with us that Thanksgiving, to just destroy all the meat the night before and cheese and provolone. Oh, my God, it was so good. That was just kind of something that me and my sister did.
But you were probably hammered, right? Is there a bar?
Hammered.
What was the bar in Bronxville? Like
The
if you were
Ox.
the Ox.
Yeah.
And
The
everybody
Ox
would
and
go there.
Fogarty's, everybody.
Ours was
Everybody.
Duke's Tavern.
Dukes.
Duke's right on Saxer Avenue, right behind Springfield High School.
Nice.
Great spot. Anybody out there on the message board, let us know your favorite hometown bar. I'm sure Hawk's happy to be back in Boston. It's
Yeah.
gonna be nuts. It's definitely more of an East Coast thing.
Of course.
It's weird how like Wednesday nights out here before Thanksgiving, I guess everybody goes home. They go back to their homes.
Right. It's transient out here.
Totally transient.
See, like Wayne does a little more Italian. He does baked lasagna or stuffed shells, pasta before the turkey. Yeah, that's
a lot of food.
That's a lot of food, but you get even more the next day. That's the best part. So being out here, one of the weird things, and I don't think this is a Southern California thing or even Central California thing. I think this is just something in my wife's family. First Thanksgiving out here, we went up to her aunt and uncle's, San Luis Obispo, and she goes, "Get ready for the Jell-O salad." I go, "What?"
Great start.
So when she goes, "You got to eat it because like it's the biggest thing." Her cousin is obsessed with it, and it's a big deal. So we get up there, and we were talking about it the whole drive up, and I'm like, "It's dessert." And you're like, "No, you put it on the plate with everything else." I was like, "No, that's effed up. It's dessert. It's basically it's like a pie almost. It's not a pie. It's a big. I don't even know the dish. It's pretzels on the bottom."
Wow. Didn't think you were going there.
Cream cheese, layer of Jell-O, layer of cream cheese, more pretzels, layer of Jell-O.
And this goes on your plate with your turkey and your stuffing.
Wouldn't you think that's a dessert?
Yes.
It wasn't. You have to do it with everything. So you got your mashed potatoes, you got your stuffing, you got your sweet potatoes, you got your turkey, you got your Jell-O salad.
Are you one of those people that doesn't like your food touching?
Oh, just mix it all up.
Yeah, I do too.
I love it.
But see, you couldn't do that with that. It's
No.
it's the outlier on your plate.
But some of them were. And you're like, ooh, that's it. It kind of throws everything into a different
Wait,
direction.
they mixed in their Jell-O with their like mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried that? It's like people with their fucking French fries and their Frosties. I don't get that,
Okay.
but people are fanatical.
I think
about
that's more
this.
of I love this, let's put them together.
Yeah, that doesn't always work though.
It doesn't work. I think cream cheese and sushi is the nastiest thing ever. Like, I'm sorry, but a Philadelphia roll is just gross.
Jarvis found cranberry jellied salad and put a picture of it up.
But it's not cranberry. Just Jell-O salad. It's not like okay, do you like the canned cranberry sauce or like the soupy cranberry
No,
sauce.
canned. I like most things canned.
The jelly kind of gelatin stuff.
I would be amazing at like the apocalypse if all we had to eat was canned food. I'm totally okay with canned food.
What would be your go-to?
Just like fucking canned corn, man. Just some or raviolis, like Chef Boyardee.
Boyardee, I haven't had one of
can
those
do-
in a while.
I can eat Chef Boyardee.
I gotta get Abe's
all
going on
day
those.
long. Kenny Neal going old school. Turkey bowl in the morning, football game, and then just get you
Yeah.
ready for dinner, man. We used to play a football game every Thanksgiving morning. The old guys versus the young guys. I used to be a young guy. Shocking.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe it. Yeah, I mean it's the best, and I think that like weather. Obviously, we're a little more romantic and nostalgic, thinking about like a cold Thanksgiving
course.
morning, as opposed to waking up and yeah, it's great. It's 80 degrees and sunny and the whole nine. But yeah, Thanksgiving back east is just one of the great things.
But we were talking. We had dinner with our neighbors on Saturday, and we were talking about like what we were going to do to decorate the house for Christmas. And they asked me what I did. I said, well, we just put those things up, and then we have a palm tree in our front yard, and I'd wrap it up, with a bunch of Christmas lights because I think it's ridiculous that I'm wrapping Christmas lights around a palm tree and it's 85 degrees. It's going to be 90 degrees on Thanksgiving here. 90. And we're going to be in the desert. It's going to be 90 there
You're going
too.
to Palm Springs?
Yeah. So I think it's ridiculous that I'm wrapping lights around a palm tree and it's 90 and we're supposed to be getting into the Christmas spirit. You're right. Thanksgiving's supposed to be cold.
It's supposed to be.
That walk home Wednesday night from the bars, like it's freezing. You don't give a shit. You're hammered. You're going home to eat those. It's the best. You wake up, you play some football. O'Sullivan was talking about putting in charge of running the squares on Thanksgiving. That's awesome. Early signs of gambling addiction. I love it. Like he has his source. A lot of people are like, I wonder
He
why
can
I'm
take it
obsessed
back.
with gambling. He could take it right
That's
back to the
patient
source.
zero right there.
That's fantastic.
Craig Philippone talking about pig's feet for the old timers. Hey, Craig Philippone, I got news for you. You're one of the old timers now. So I hope you're eating some pig's feet.
I see those. Do people eat those? What do you do with them?
I think you got to braise them for like a really, really long time.
And then do what?
I have no idea. Just
You
eat
don't
them.
fucking eat them.
Jacob Burke just signed on to the message board. He's Canadian. Do you think there's any Canadians that do anything for Thanksgiving?
What do you think?
I don't know. I think maybe like they're close enough. It's like your neighbor. Like when your
It's
neighbor.
like you going out for Cinco de Mayo?
I'm not Jewish, but when motherfuckers celebrate Hanukkah, I get a little jealous. And I want to celebrate shit too, man. I want to be part of the party. So
Dia de los Muertos really gets to you after Halloween?
Dude, the Day of the Dead, man. And like Canadians, they're like our neighbors, man. Like they're like, oh, you have a day where you like don't work on a Thursday and you eat a bunch of food.
Name three holidays in Canada.
Bastille Day.
Okay.
That's probably a
I'll give
French
you that
holiday.
one. Yeah.
3 Canadian holidays. Oh man, Christmas. Right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I'm at Easter.
Yeah.
Okay. And
More Catholic holidays or Christian holidays than.
but they
Canada.
probably don't work. And there's got to. I mean, I'm not going to.
I mean, you know why? I'm not going to get into you with how Thanksgiving started, but you being responsible, you personally, for the Liberty Bell and all that, you probably have some idea how Thanksgiving started.
You're welcome. Yeah. Well, obviously Canadians don't, but I'm just saying you're our neighbors, and you get a little jealous, and you want like a little part of it. So I don't know, Jacob, if you're.
What do you do? Do you go plant a tree during Arbor Day just because our neighbors up north are doing that?
I might. I don't know if it was a good.
What,
If it was
44
a party,
years, you haven't done it yet. So
Yeah, but planting a tree is not the same as like gorging your face with food. Like gorging
I
your
mean,
face with food is fun.
I guess you could
Planting
say,
a
yeah,
tree
Cinco de Mayo.
sucks.
What is that holiday? Oh, they just go out and get hammered? Yeah, all right. We could do something like that.
Boom! Perfect. You just made my point.
I know,
We
I have to make your
celebrate-
points now.
Yeah, we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, so I'm sure some Canadians are cooking up some turkeys, guaranteed. Absolutely.
Jarvis just put up that Thanksgiving is in October in Canada.
There we go. So it's a thing. Canadian
Well,
Thanksgiving.
he found something on the internet, so I guess it is a thing.
Well, giving thanks is not a uniquely American experience, Mike. You can give thanks if you're from other countries. You
Not?
have other things. I'm thankful for. What are you thankful for? Let's do that. Let's wrap up the show with some thankful.
Some thankful.
Some thankful thoughts.
Thankful thoughts. You go first.
Wow, you're thankful for a lot, or you just have to catalog them all. Thankful for you, thankful for the show, thankful for Jarvis, obviously, right here. Everybody's fantastic. Thankful to be healthy, thankful to be alive. Yeah, just like the basic shit. I told you, I'm keeping it basic today. This is Basic Monday. I'm thankful for all just like the regular shit. I'm not going to get down to the nitty gritty of it all, but yeah, just grateful. Grateful people are happy people, Mike. That's what
There you go.
Mama Devlin always told me.
Nice. I wish I was going back to New York for Thanksgiving, but I'm grateful for my family out here. We got another one on the way. Happy, healthy child. Thankful for you. Thankful to ASBN and Facebook for the opportunity they've given us lately. And thankful for what is in the future because we're talking some interesting stuff coming down the pike for mostly sports.
Going international. We're going international.
Potentially going international. Throw some teasers out there every week about what we might be up to.
Real quick, Craig Philippon, thankful for mostly sports.
There you
Thanks,
go.
Craig.
That's all we were
Appreciate
going. We were just fishing.
Dude, fucking thankful for everybody that tunes in on Mondays. Like, seriously, these people have lives and they listen to us. I mean, that's ridiculous to me. And these people, you guys are on the message board every week, like, never miss a week. If we start 5 minutes late, we get a bunch of texts. People are awesome. So that's ridiculous to me how amazingly loyal. And these guys make the show just as much as we make
of
the
course.
show.
They're kidding. You guys on the message board, you guys are awesome. You guys are so much fun. Hawk brings up a great point. I'm so glad he reminded me of this. Hawk, I am so glad you're listening right now. So on, I forget which night, I watched a Denzel movie that I hadn't seen before because of you and Hawk. Okay? It's called Man on Fire. You guys put this in your top 6. Okay? The movie, what did I text you? I ranked it just below Ransom.
Give me back my son.
Yes.
Love
just below Ransom.
Great movie.
Okay? And then he dies at the end.
Yeah.
They're going to take him away and kill him.
I love that.
Sorry, spoiler alert, whatever you idiots wanted to hear. But the movie was boring as fuck. I love Denzel. Not as much as Leo. The movie was boring. It took him an hour and a half to establish a relationship between him and what's-her-name. We get it. We get it. We don't need another swimming lesson. We get it, okay? Denzel's great. Nobody in the history of cinema has a better look over the edge of the sunglass look than Denzel. He does it in every single movie. He does this thing, the look over the sunglass thing. Nails it every time. That was the only good thing in this movie. The movie was boring. It was really boring.
That would have been a really compelling. I appreciate your argument. It would have been compelling if I thought you actually believed it.
I 100% believe it.
If we were,
I'm not trying to start shit here.
If we were at the Stella Adler School of Acting, I would make you go back, compose yourself, and give that monologue again.
Oh my God! I will do this. We
not,
only got 5 minutes. I'll do this all show next week.
I don't believe you. I respect you. Men on Fire is a fantastic movie, maybe the greatest revenge movie ever made, except for the Count of Monte Cristo.
Count of Monte Cristo might have it edged out a little.
Count of Monte Cristo, one of my favorite movies of all time. But Man on Fire, like untouchable, great movie. You don't really believe yourself.
But why? Like we always talk about movies we can go back and watch again. If that movie's on, I guarantee you I will not be watching it. There's not even a point in the movie where I'm like, oh yeah, I'd watch this part again. What, the 20-minute where we have to watch the girl walk over the bridge at the end of the movie? Just go. Just meet up. Nowhere in history has any hostage situation gone where, okay, you're going to park a half a mile that way? All right, I'll park, and I'll just, you're just sending her? Okay. Are you kidding? Why didn't you just drive away? You got the brother. Just go. Are you kidding? I know you don't give a shit, but like no hostage situation has ever gone like that in history.
I like how we went from things we're thankful for to an angry Man on Fire rant.
Oh, it's so bad. That movie's bad.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
So real quick, I'll give you a break.
This
here.
argument is still going on.
I'll give you a break here. The disaster movie comes out next week. I don't think anyone outside of LA gives a shit about this. It's the Franco brothers and Seth Rogen doing the making of The Room. Have you ever seen The Room?
No.
Okay. Put it at the top of your list. It's the worst movie ever made, and it is so good. I did a little rabbit hole dive this weekend while I was watching boring NFL, and I started watching. These guys have created this YouTube thing called Everything Wrong With, and then a movie. Disaster movie, it's like a 20-minute thing. I watched Everything Wrong With 7. Okay? Phenomenal movie. Some people call it an absolute masterpiece. These guys had found, and it's funny. It's good stuff. I need them to do Man on Fire because it'll be like an hour long. Everything is wrong with that movie.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Denzel's a national treasure. I'm thankful for him.
Here's disaster movie. There we go.
Thankful.
How have you never seen The Room?
I don't even know what that is, dude.
It's like the whole deal with like Rocky Horror Picture Show when people go see the movie at midnight on a Saturday.
Never seen that either.
Okay, it's when I first moved here, my roommate was like, "We got to go see this movie. You throw a football around in the theater, and there's you're eating and this and that. It's a blast." And I was like, "I'm not doing that. It's the worst movie ever. I don't need to see it." You have to see it. It is the worst, best movie you will ever see in your life, and these guys are recreating it right now.
I'm all in on Dave Franco. So
both Francos, you get double Francos.
Yeah, but Dave Franco's the #1 seed. Hot take.
Watch The Room before. We got to go see a disaster movie. You got to see The Room first. You absolutely have to. It's a classic. Jen told me to stop telling people that because I was telling people that all weekend. And they're like, dude, nobody gives a shit about your stupid movie.
I like it. Great
Yeah.
show. Jacob said he wants to do Canadian basketball trivia next.
Ooh.
That would be great. Talked a lot of Canada. We covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
We were actually contemplating like shutting it down at 1:30 when we walked in. We're like, let's just do 90 really good minutes. I'm a little sick. You got a lot on your mind. Your water heater broke. We didn't even get to you fixing your water heater, which is like one of the most impressive things I've ever heard.
I decided to put a pin in that one because I don't think people give a shit about hearing about my water heater.
Well, you're a handy guy. But yeah, good show, man. I had a good time.
Jarvis isn't even looking up pictures for water heaters right now. That's
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Again, thank you for tuning in every week. We love you guys. We're having a fucking blast.
Yeah,
Mike.
thanks to you guys. You guys are awesome with your snarky comments on the board, reminding us that we're idiots.
Done.
We like it. We
I like
appreciate it.
No, there's a water heater for you.
Did you really put up a
He did.
water heater?
Don't challenge Jarvis, man. He always answers the bell.
I know. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will be back next Monday. That's it.
A little fatter.
Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's UBNradio.com.